Window Depot is open to the public, so whether you're a homeowner or a contractor, you can shop the enormous warehouse. Browse the shelves with over 1,000 vinyl windows, interior and patio doors, and skylights in several varieties and sizes available to go home today. Shop thewindowdepot.com or find a location near you. The Window Depot. Best price, biggest inventory.
License to 40693.
Guys, I want to share Alaskan AC's 1-year guarantee.
Yeah.
It's a big deal, a 1-year guarantee.
Doesn't everyone have something like that?
Sure, but they keep your money. We give money back.
Oh. Wow. Can we say that?
Yes, like this. When Alaskan AC installs a new system, it's guaranteed for a whole year or your money back. We'll either fix it to make it work, or we'll hand you back all of your money.
This really makes other AC companies seem kinda lame? That's the word.
Another polar bear promise.
A whole year. If your AC system isn't performing like it should on day 363,
We make it right or give you back all of your money right down to the penny.
call an Alaskan. No, call everyone else first. See if they'll put their money on the line.
They won't, because at Alaskan AC, we believe if we can't satisfy you,
We don't deserve your business. And that's a polar bear promise.
guaranteed. Every day at AlaskanAC.com.
Good news, everybody.
We stay on the air with you for an extra 2 hours after every Arizona football and men's basketball game all season long. That's why we are the home of the Wildcats. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
KCUB Tucson, a Cumulus media station.
We are the sports station that Tucson turns to for all the latest news when it comes to Arizona men's basketball, along with all the play-by-play action. We are Wildcats Radio 1290. Live from the CNWT.
From the what? Central Northwest Tucson. Duh.
It's DK on the Sports Tip.
With your host, David Kelly.
Radio. Just when I thought I was out, they drug me back in.
Featuring J.W. Madden.
Don't tell me about flip-flops, man. I'm a native.
And Cricket getting you home with traffic and weather.
Camp on Melt Lemon, not in the left lane on the freeway.
Here we go! And now,
A man who has not one, but 3 first names.
David Scott Kelly.
Puello is defending Peely. Johnson is going to inbound. Taking a look initially at Wilkie. It's thrown into traffic. It's had by Peely. She's catching this one. Put up a shot. It's not good. It doesn't matter. Wildcats have all gone to midcourt. Utah patiently waiting to shake hands as photographers were knocked down. Managers are going absolutely bananas. And nobody has left McKale. 71-70. Arizona comes back from 10 down in the third. Gets the win. Boy, howdy.
Boy, howdy. You know, I was a basketball manager back in my college days, and that's what we do when our team wins a big game. Now, back in my days managing at the school in downtown Los Angeles, we didn't win a whole lot of big basketball games, but trust me, when we did win, it was a celebration. The managers going crazy. And how about that win on Sunday afternoon for the Arizona women's basketball team, upsetting the number 15 team in the country and maybe one of the best players in college basketball in Alyssa Peely, 71-70. The script got flipped. I was down there Friday night for the game against number 5 Colorado. Tough loss, 75-74. Cats had a 6-point lead at the beginning of the fourth quarter. They ran off 12 in a row to flip that game in their favor. But then the Buffaloes went to a 2-3 zone in the fourth quarter and kind of siphoned away the Wildcats offense. Aaronette Vonleh, the one-time Wildcat back in 2020-21, went to town in that fourth quarter to help her team battle back from behind. And then the ladies had 2 great opportunities, man. And I tell you what, Kaylin Gilbert got the ball out front, sliced the defense, had a runner in the lane that came up just a little bit short. Wildcats got the jump ball possession, had an inbounds play with about a little over a second to go. I thought Adia drew up a great opportunity to get the ball to Brea Cunningham, and her shot for the freshman just a little bit too hard off the back of the cylinder. I've got both those plays up on my Twitter page, so head on over there if you did not see them. David Kelly, 1290. 2 great opportunities. It just did not happen. And then to come from as many as 8 down yesterday at home against Utah. I mean, another bad third quarter. That has been the thing for this basketball team. They just have not played well in the third quarter. They were down yesterday, and they found a way to turn it on. Let's hear how that happened in that third quarter.
3 quarters in the books. Utah had expanded a lead out to 10. Wildcats fought it back to a couple of possessions a couple of times after 3 3-pointers in the first 2 minutes had paced the Utes, still now trailing 57-50. The Cats got 10 minutes to work with. Accelerates a pass top of the key. Pueyo gets around the first couple of defenders. Now pulls up from 10 out to have that rattle in. Pueyo now with 14 to match Gilbert. 5-point game with Pueyo walking into a 3-pointer at the top of the key. She's got it down. Alexis of Tucson Charity 3. Helena's got 17. Makes it a 4-point game. The Wildcats haven't been this close since about the midway point in the third. 8 minutes to play. Tries to hand it off to Johnson, but it's taken away by Jones. Skyler going end to end and will finish with a left hand to make it a 2-point game. Gets this one up top. Jones, one bounce, and now off to the right angle. And Gilbert, 10 seconds to shoot as she gets inside. Put it up with the finger roll off the side rim to score it. Her first bucket in the second half makes it a 1-point game. Jones enters it to the left block. Martinez back outside. Pueyo is going to catch and shoot a 3-pointer that's down. Alexis of Tucson Charity 3. Pueyo has 20. The Wildcats have a 2-point lead. Utah hasn't scored from the field in 5 minutes and 11 seconds.
A 12-0 run gave the Arizona Wildcats the lead over Utah. The game would come down tied at regulation, tied for a long time at the end of regulation. I believe the last points in regulation were scored with just over 2 minutes to go. Neither team could find the basket. It was desperation at the end.
Walking back to the midcourt line, trying to keep Young away from the basketball. 12 seconds to go as she starts to approach the 3-point line. Gets inside the arc, loses it as she spins inside. 6 seconds, crosses over, gets inside, puts it up off the glass short, no good. Rebounds taken by Peely, and now Utah calls a quick timeout with 1.6 seconds left. Oh, the horror story from last year in Salt Lake. 65-65, neither team has scored in the last 2+ minutes. Johnson's going to inbound. Utah is spread out as they're initially looking for McQueen. Get this one inbounded to Young, who's going to adjust her shot right at the rim, but it's short. Woo! That was a great call by Roberts. Young just a little bit too far underneath the bucket, and it cannot finish it. So it's tied at 65 going into an overtime period.
You heard Derek Palmer mention last year the Wildcats lost the game at the end. They were ahead. There was a foul. Utah hit some free throws, and they were able to win the game in Salt Lake City, a game the Wildcats believed that they had in the bag. It didn't happen. So this game went to overtime. Inez Vera of Utah hits a 3 with just over a minute to play to give her team a 70-69 lead. The Wildcats had one last shot, and once again, what are you going to do? You're going to put the ball in the hands of your leading scorer, Kaylin Gilbert.
Gilbert has it at the logo. 12 seconds with a high dribble, being forced away from the action by Young. 10 seconds. Here comes Cunningham with the screen. 7 seconds. She goes away from it. Going into the teeth of the defense. Puts it off the glass. It's not good. Again, no whistle. She's going to put that one up, and a foul is called. After she fought for the offensive rebound, a foul is called on Young. That's her 5th. Both players were fighting for the rebound. Young was reaching in, and as Gilbert desperately was trying to get a shot up, that is where the foul is called. So 1.1 seconds left. Gilbert's trying to tie it with this first free throw. First is up and good. Utah can advance it and has 1 second and 1/10 of another remaining. Gilbert trying to give the Cats the lead. She does so.
So the Wildcats lead 71-70 after 2 free throws by Kaylin Gilbert. Arizona had just 3 offensive rebounds in this game. Kaylin grabbed that one off of her own miss. Maybe the most important and biggest rebound of her young career here at the University of Arizona. She finished 6 for 6 from the line. Her 21st and 22nd points to go along with a double-double, 12 rebounds. Utah would have the ball at half court. It's kind of like the NBA. You call the timeout, they advance the ball with one last opportunity.
Pueo is defending Peely. Johnson is going to inbound. Taking a look initially at Wilkie. It's thrown into traffic. It's had by Peely. She's catching this one. Put up a shot. It's not good. It doesn't matter. Wildcats have all gone to midcourt. Utah patiently waiting to shake hands as photographers were knocked down. Managers are going absolutely bananas. And nobody has left McKale. 71-70. Arizona comes back from 10 down in the third. Gets the win. Boy, howdy.
Boy, howdy, indeed. If you were there yesterday at McKale Center, 7,385 people witnessed the Wildcats knocking off Alyssa Peely and the Utah Utes. And yes, there's word that maybe not everybody with Utah was feeling well. Food poisoning, coach had it, a couple of the players had it. That's unfortunate. But you got to play these games, and the Wildcats got the win. 520-848-1290, 520-848-1290. We will talk about this huge weekend for the Arizona women's basketball team, almost pulling off 2 upsets, getting a needed one, because now they've got to go on the road for 4 games to the Oregons and the Washingtons. It is not going to be an easy road to toll in the Pac-12, but this was a huge, huge win. We're going to talk about it coming up with Kim Doss from AZ Desert Swarm. You will hear from Adia Barnes. We'll hear her thoughts. We'll also hear from Helena Pueyo and the star of the moment, Kaylin Gilbert. All of that is straight ahead. DK on the Sports Tip. My name is David Kelly. I've got JW Madden. I've got Cricket here with me as well. Cricket,
greetings.
A great Monday to you.
Happy Monday to you.
Yes. So what was the best thing you did this past weekend?
I watched my niece play soccer and her team won.
Ooh,
it was
is
super
this
fun.
high school soccer or youth soccer?
Youth soccer.
Okay.
They played against like 14-year-old girls and they still beat them. It was awesome. Those other girls were so tall and so grown up looking, and I'm thinking, oh, this is going to be bad. But they won.
Okay, now what's your niece's name and what's her team called?
She's Kira, and it's the CDO Soccer League.
Oh, yeah, very nice. And how long has she been playing?
Since probably she could, I would say, since she's like her dad's big on soccer, so they put her in soccer, and he finally got the kid he wanted that enjoys soccer.
Nice.
So yeah.
Now wait, so are you what type of aunt at a game are you?
I'm like, woo woo. Go team, go Kiki. And my brother-in-law is that parent, like the yeller. Like, he gets...
He's that parent.
Yeah, kind of gets ticked off at the ref. Those girls were bullies, too. I mean, I know soccer's a pretty tough sport, but...
It can be.
They were shoving the other girls, and I know my brother-in-law, he was trying to behave himself, but I know he's like, oh... You need to call that. Like, those girls are shoving each... like.
Now, he's not coaching, is he?
No, thank goodness. He'd be a good coach, but yeah, he's like that parent that would be like, excuse me, referee, sir,
All right, so what high school are we going to be looking for Kiki at here, and how old is she?
She is 11.
So she's got
12
a few
this
years.
summer.
Okay,
Yeah.
she's got a few years. But was she eyeing a soccer factory like South Point Catholic or One of those
It'll
schools.
be, I think, CDO.
Oh, CDO.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. She's going to play. That's a good school. That's a good school to be at. How about you, J-Dub? What was the best thing you did this weekend?
I just kind of relaxed. I mean, it was a busy Thursday, Friday, Saturday, but I watched a lot of basketball yesterday. I watched the Lakers-Clippers game and the Mavericks, Luka versus Ant. I watched those two games. Mostly Clippers-Lakers, though, because it's just interesting. Those two teams are going in opposite directions, and yet somehow the Lakers have beat the Clippers both times this year. And the Clippers are 14-1 in their last 15 games, something like that. So that was a fun game to watch.
Which means that's not good for the Suns tonight because that's where they have to go play.
Yeah. And the Suns obviously lost as well yesterday to a Ja Morant-less Grizzlies team, but that was blacked out at our house, so I would be watching all the Suns games.
Really
if
now?
not for
Was
that.
it blacked out at your house?
It's
really
always
now?
blocked out. Always blocked out. Yeah. Well, here's the thing.
This is something we've been talking about all fall.
Paige really fell in love with the Suns.
Yeah.
And she fell in love with McKale Bridges.
Oh.
And all of the rest of the guys, including, Cam Payne and whoever else, who are no longer a part of the team. So that whole journey to the Bubbles, the Bubble Suns, and the journey to the finals, we watched every single one of those games. And she's not a sports fan. And now we're looking at the roster, and Booker's the only one left. So we watch as many of the games on national TV that we can.
Yeah.
And, she's not a fan of the Suns as much as that group because she's not obviously from Arizona. But yeah, they're in a little trouble now, 19-17 on the season. So we'll have to talk about that.
Absolutely. Now, do either of you play pickleball?
I've dabbled, but I never played it. No.
Have you played it, Cricket?
I've never played.
Never played. Okay, so you probably never heard of the Duper.
Duper, no.
Duper. Okay, so the Duper, and I'll talk more about this. This is a rating that you can get playing pickleball. And so it's kind of like it's like the level of how good you are.
Cricket, you want to guess if duper means good or bad?
I'm going to guess it sounds bad.
Sounds
it's
like
not
you're
bad.
deceiving.
It's not bad at all.
Okay.
I forget exactly what it stands for, but I'll come up with it. Dynamic Universal Pickleball Rating.
Oh, okay.
So
sure.
I went to get my duper rating yesterday. Very interesting day. Got up really early, which I don't normally like to do on Sundays, but my wife was going to get hers, and she has to have a partner go with you. So I said, okay, I don't mind. I'd like to know how good I am, so let's just go do this. So very interesting. A lot of fun out there. We got up early. We got the sweat going before 10 o'clock, which is very rare for me on a Sunday. So it was a good way to start what ended up being a very bad. Did you get snow where you live?
No, just cold and rain.
Cold and rain.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah, we got cold and rain, but we didn't get any snow. How about you, J-Dub? Did it snow where you live?
No. We live probably a mile and a half south from where you are. So if you guys didn't get snow where you are, we didn't either.
Okay, cool deal. All right, much more coming up for you, but Cricket right now has to make sure you get home on the fives every 20 minutes. Here's Cricket with the traffic.
And from the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather. Together, reported collisions, Stone Avenue and Grant Road, Old Vale Road near Houghton, also at Oracle and Wetmore. Some backups on eastbound Grant Road approaching Columbus. There is a hard freeze warning in effect from midnight tonight until 10 a.m. tomorrow, 53 and sunny tomorrow and 46 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather together.
This report is sponsored by Progressive Insurance. At Progressive, they're making things even easier. They'll help you bundle your home and car insurance together so you can save on both. Learn more at progressive.com or 1-800-PROGRESSIVE. That's progressive.com or 1-800-PROGRESSIVE.
DK on the Sports Tip, 3 to 6 weekdays.
Working on my hockey lingo.
You're
my
doing that.
jargon.
You're learning quick.
Do you know what icing is?
I love icing. That's my favorite part.
Yeah, it's the best part of hockey, isn't it?
Don't miss out on all the fun.
My daughter is normally a little goofball. But after a bad night's sleep, she's too tired to be anything. That's why I trust Pure Z's Kids. Pure Z's Kids is mindfully formulated just for kids. Their non-habit forming, drug-free products help my daughter fall asleep naturally, giving her the rest to be her best.
I'm a dinosaur.
Her best dinosaur.
Pure Z's Kids, for ages 4 and up when needed. Explore our products at zquill.com. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
So you're in the middle of a kitchen update, and you can't tell if that's a faucet stem or a flange. With the Home Depot app, doing doesn't miss a beat. It'll find what you need in a snap, and it'll show you how to find it in store with a tap. Or get it delivered free. For doing that doesn't stop, download the Home Depot app. It's made for doing.
Tired of dry, itchy skin? Have mineral buildup at every faucet? Ram Plumbing's affordable, green, eco-friendly water softener and alkalized purification systems are built right here in our great state of Arizona and use a fraction of the wastewater as their competitors. Want soft water, non-chlorinated, or the best alkalized drinking water? You can trust Ram Plumbing to be your one-stop shop. Ask about their Water Taste Challenge. 40th year anniversary savings, up to $500 off water systems and $40 off any service. If your plumbing's in trouble, call Ram on the double.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles, with an auto warranty about to expire, or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost, month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-736-6158 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-736-6158. That's 800-736-6158. What do you have to lose? Call 800-736-6158. Again, 800-736-6158.
Think of waking up with energy, standing tall and feeling free. Think First Chiropractic, good health is to enjoy.
For over 30 years, Tucson has been putting its trust in First Chiropractic for auto and on-the-job injuries. They're locally owned and a proud sponsor of the U of A radio broadcast. So if you've been injured, make the right choice first.
First Chiropractic, good health is to enjoy.
Jackson Hewitt has a plan to get your tax refund fast. With a buck here, buck there. Here a buck, there a buck, everywhere a buck.
You don't have to wait weeks for your tax refund. Get money sooner with a no-fee refund advance loan at Jackson Hewitt.
On this loan, there's a money today guarantee. E-I-E-I-DO.
Don't settle for chicken feed. Get fast bucks at Jackson Hewitt today. No-fee refund advance loans by Republic Bank offered to eligible clients. Money today guarantee if approved for a loan on a prepaid card. Details at jacksonhewitt.com.
For the ones who get it done, the most important part is the one you need now. And the best partner is the one who can deliver. That's why millions of maintenance and repair pros trust Grainger, because we have professional-grade supplies for every industry, even hard-to-find products. And we have same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders. But most importantly, we have an unwavering commitment to help keep you up and running. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
For all the latest news from Arizona Stadium, McKale Center, and High Corbin Field, make sure to like us on Facebook at Wildcats 1290. This is the exclusive home of Arizona Athletics. Wildcats Radio 1290.
Today on Hey Culligan's Smart Home, Smarter Water Softener, here's Kevin.
Hey Culligan, can a smart water softener lift those heavy salt bags for me?
Kevin, it can.
Wait, it can?
Yep, the smart high-efficiency water softener from Culligan can alert your dealer when the salt needs to be replaced, and they'll do it for you, so your water stays soft and you stay away from lifting the bags.
I mean, I could lift them if I wanted.
No judgment here, Kevin. We're happy to do it, and we're already on the way. Let us help you out with a free in-home water test with the local Culligan water expert at Culligan.com.
Gilbert has it at the logo. 12 seconds with a high dribble, being forced away from the action by Young. 10 seconds. Here comes Cunningham with the screen. 7 seconds. She goes away from it. Going into the teeth of the defense. Puts it off the glass. It's not good. Again, no whistle. She's going to put that one up, and a foul is called.
DK on the Sports Tip on Wildcats Radio 1290.
Huge win for Arizona women's basketball on Sunday at McKale Center, 71-70 over number 15. Utah, if you were there, I want to hear from you today. 520-848-1290. What most impressed you from, I believe, what Adia Barnes referred to as the Fabulous Seven or something of that nature because of the numbers that the Wildcats are dealing with this season. Let's talk a little Arizona women's basketball with Kim Dosh. She covers the team and all Arizona Wildcats women's athletics for AZ Desert Swarm. And woo, Kim, it's like Man, those two games this weekend, that was a lot to absorb. A 1-point loss to Colorado at the last second on Friday night, a 1-point win at the last second on Sunday. That's about as exciting a weekend of Arizona women's basketball as we've had here in a while.
It is. I mean, when Adia Barnes first came here, she had to make that climb. And there's something exciting about a climb, about doing something you're not expected to do. And I think this weekend was, from the outside, it was something people didn't expect. So that kind of makes it more exciting.
So let's start with what happened Friday. And obviously this was a situation once again, and we've been dealing with this all year, as this team is kind of playing shorthanded and not knowing before the game that they were going to be without Isis Bay, who is in concussion protocol. And then we kind of knew that Sale Karoma was not likely to play due to an injured shoulder. I mean, this is just, it's nuts when you think about how this season has transpired from a roster management standpoint for Adia Barnes.
Yeah, I totally understand why Adia doesn't want to use all her scholarships. I know that a lot of people are questioning that decision, but hindsight's kind of 2020. She's done this because of issues she's had with dissatisfaction around playing time. When you have a huge roster, when you use all 15 scholarships, So she went with 12, and then they had the problem with, one of the transfers leaving. So it was down, and they had the injury to Montea that kept her out for the season. So that kind of knocked them back right from the start, and then trying to get help with the walk-on and having her get injured right away. It's like everything that could go wrong has gone wrong.
What would you say in terms of the game Friday night? And obviously, like I said, so now you're playing a game where you really don't have any bigs off the bench. You have really only two guards that can come in and play. How do you think they handled that Friday night, and how did that help them in going into it on Sunday?
Well, I was surprised that they handled it as well as they did. And I'll be perfectly frank with you. I thought that the officiating was very kind early in the game as far as the bigs. I thought there was a lot of contact. They just let go. And then they kind of put the screws in a little bit later. But early in the game, where Arizona often runs into problems with their bigs getting foul trouble, I thought that there was some stuff that they just let them play through. But I did not expect them to stay as close, considering the front court that Colorado has. Vonleh and Quay are very good. I mean, they're probably the top pair. They're not the top players, but they're probably the top front court pair in the league. And I think that was the biggest lesson, was that you can hang in even with the best, but you got to be smart too, and that's what they've got to learn. They've got to be smart when they're going to get the fouls. They can't be getting them, out near center court. Their bigs can't be getting fouls, which is a lot of what Bray has dealt with, is learning how to play the defense Adia wants without fouling, because she is guarding away from the basket a lot, trapping and that sort of thing. And that's where she's getting some of her fouls. So I think that was probably the biggest thing, learning how to do that.
Kim Dotch joining us, AZ Desert Swarm. She covers Arizona women's basketball. Now, the Buffaloes in that second half threw the 2-3 zone defense out there, which we've seen teams throw at Arizona before. Happened against Ole Miss earlier in the year. How do you think they're adjusting to that?
Well, I think it's still a work in progress, but at times they're learning how to attack that rather than just passing around the perimeter and putting up a shot, from outside, because that's not really, that's not the best way to attack the zone, and that's not their strong suit. So they're looking for the things. They're looking for how to get into slash to the paint. And even if you take a three, you've got the defense moving a little bit more. So I think that's the biggest thing is seeing them learn how to do that and not go with what a lot of fans think that the conventional wisdom is, which is you got to shoot your way out of the zone. That's not necessarily what you have to do. And I think that seeing them learn that is the most promising because it will help them in the future because teams are going to continue doing that until they prove they can deal with it.
What do you think of the end of game sequence against Colorado? I mean, I thought they had two really good looks to try to win the game. I was surprised they were able to get the ball to Brea Cunningham in such a positive scoring position there. That was a really nicely drawn up play on that inbounds by Adia Barnes.
Absolutely. And the thing is, she's been pretty automatic. Brea has once she gets the ball there. So I think it was, Adia came up with a great play. The players executed, which is, the other huge thing. But it wasn't just let's stand around and, dribble out and then ISO. Although that worked against Utah. So, it was nice to see some creativity there.
Kim Doss from AZ Desert.
Even if they didn't hit.
Kim Doss from AZ Desert Swarm is our guest, talking about Arizona women's basketball's weekend against two ranked teams coming up with a split. Let's turn our attention now to what happened yesterday. Kim, again, tough third quarter. What are we seeing that's kind of behind this? I know Adia talked about it this week. We got to get them out of the locker room a little bit sooner to start, get them hot and warmed up and get some shots up before the buzzer tips, before the sounder goes off to start the second half. Because once again, Utah came right out of the gate and widened their 1 point lead in the first few minutes of the third quarter.
Right. It went from 1 to 10 in like 2 minutes, And the problem was Arizona went to jacking up threes. When they fell into that habit of thinking they're a 3-point shooting team, that happens. When they get good 3-point shots like they did in the first half, they only took 6 in the entire first half. They took 6 in that third quarter alone and missed 5 of them. And they just keep going back to that well and they get stuck in it. That's what I saw against Utah. And I think different things have happened in different games, but against Utah, I think they fell in love again with the 3. And they've got to move beyond that and know when to take the 3.
Were there things that you thought, then obviously they used the 3, Helena hit a couple to kind of spark that 12-0 run. Did you think those were better 3 situations that they were getting in the beginning of the fourth quarter?
I think so, and I think they started moving the ball a little bit more. And that's the biggest thing is, not taking them early in the clock. Like Adia said, in that third quarter, and even in the second, they were taking 3s at bad times. Like they just missed a couple shots, and they go down, and early in the shot clock, they put up a 3. They don't move the ball. They don't, work the defense. They just put up a 3. Those are what they were doing in the third quarter, and even late in the second. Like she said, they were in the bonus, but they wouldn't drive on Utah trying to get to the free throw line. They were just putting up 3s. So it's that knowing what's going on, and maybe this isn't the time you take that risk.
3 offensive rebounds, but man, was the last one the most important rebound maybe of Kaylin Gilbert's young career here.
Right, and one thing about Kaylin is, like Ari McDonald, she's a good rebounder from that guard position. She's a little bit bigger than Ari, so that helps. They called Ari 5'6", and there's no way. She was maybe 5'4". She's maybe 5'4". And Kaylin is more 5'7", 5'8". But she's able to fight even among the trees, and she's got the will to go do it. Because rebounding a lot is just pursuing the ball. Having the will to do it, and she does. And when you have the will to do those things, you're gonna have fall in your lap sometimes. Have the most important get the most important offensive board of the game, So that's one thing about Gilbert's game that's really helpful because, Martinez, her rebounding's down a little bit this year, but having Gilbert kind of pick up some of that is really helpful to this team.
Yeah, 12 rebounds for the game, a double-double, Kaylin Gilbert, and then it was flashbacks to last year. Utah had a chance to win the game at the end, kind of like they did, and executed it in Salt Lake City last year. But I'll tell you, Helena Puello, as much as you love her on the offensive end, she can really get it done for you on the defensive end. Played 40-plus minutes in both those games this weekend.
Right. And I mean, I think it was the first time I've seen her with ice on her shoulder post game. It was Sunday. And she's putting up the shots, she's learning she can do it on both ends, and she can still be a great defender and a great distributor while being a great offensive player. And I think that's a big thing. Getting it out of her head that it's kind of unselfish to be selfish sometimes because the team needs that. But on that defensive end, she's always going to get it done there. That's been her bread and butter the whole time. Even though she was brought in as a shooter, she's really bought into that defensive role that some of the glue players at Arizona have, like Sam Thomas. And even Ari, bought into that defensive role. And that's kind of, I think, the prototype that Adia wants in her players is who will buy in, who know they can score, but it's not the only thing about the game.
All right, over under on the number of games before Helena Puello takes 10-plus shots again.
I would be surprised if it was anytime soon.
Right. Exactly.
Adia said 11 to 15 every day, and I'm like, no, that's not happening.
Not happening. Not happening. Not at all. All right, it is on to a tough 4-game road trip. What's the best case scenario for going to the Oregons and the Washingtons the next 2 weeks?
Well, the team that's really standing out among those 4 is surprisingly Washington. They've taken, they're 1-2 right now, but they had to go to Stanford. So that's kind of a gimme, They beat Washington State. They played a really good game against Louisville right before Pac-12 started. I think that Tina Langley's got some things going there. Oregon State, they had a really good record in the non-conference, but it was against, really questionable competition. Oregon is having a tough time this year. I mean, they're 0-3 right now in the league. They're looking, if ASU wasn't so bad, that they might be, in contention for that 12th spot.
Wow.
To be perfectly honest with you. And then, that's surprising.
Yeah.
Because they have some talent there. Van Sluten and Chance Gray, Adia really wanted both of them. They're great players, and they're doing things, but there's just not enough around them. And Washington State, they lost a tough one to Cal, so we'll see how they rebound from that. Yeah. So best case scenario, I think, is 3-1.
Ooh, okay, we'll take that for sure. That would be real nice. Real nice to come back from that scenario, 3-1. Kim, we always appreciate talking women's athletics with you, and we will do it again real soon.
Thanks for having me, DK.
Kim Doss from AZ Desert Swarm. Check out all of her great work, addesertswarm.com. Her, Brian Peterson, and all the great folks doing splendid work over there covering your Arizona Wildcats. Getting you home, doing splendid work there every 20 minutes on the Fives is our young lady of the moment, Cricket.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together. Eastbound Grant Road approaching Columbus for some backups and collisions that are clearing. Stone and Grant Road and Stone Avenue, Oldvale Road near Houghton, and a collision near Tucson Mall at Oracle. And Wetmore and Oracle. Hard freeze warning from midnight tonight until 10 a.m. tomorrow. 53 and sunny tomorrow and 46 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by ChumbaCasino.com. Introducing Chumba Casino, the thrilling online social casino that's free to play. Head on over to ChumbaCasino.com now to join in on the fun. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
You are sitting in an intersection right now, doing a little daydreaming about how you would like a new truck. Well, you can make your dream a reality right here at O'Reilly Chevrolet. You know, the place the jingle's about.
O'Reilly Chevrolet.
License to 40693.
Guys, I want to share Alaskan AC's 1-year guarantee.
Yeah.
It's a big deal, a 1-year guarantee.
Doesn't everyone have something like that?
Sure, but they keep your money. We give money back.
Oh. Wow. Can we say that?
Yes, like this. When Alaskan AC installs a new system, it's guaranteed for a whole year or your money back. We'll either fix it to make it work, or we'll hand you back all of your money.
This really makes other AC companies seem kinda lame? That's the word.
Another polar bear promise.
A whole year. If your AC system isn't performing like it should on day 363,
we make it right or give you back all of your money right down to the penny.
Call an Alaskan. No, call everyone else first. See if they'll put their money on the line.
They won't, because at Alaskan AC, we believe if we can't satisfy you,
we don't deserve your business. And that's a polar bear promise.
Guaranteed. Every day at AlaskanAC.com.
You can make the decision right now to get lasting relief from that awful joint pain for 2024. Your body has what it needs to restore and repair that damaged joint tissue. Call QC Kinetics. They can make it happen with no drugs, no surgery, and no downtime. The future pain treatments has arrived, and QC has tens of thousands of satisfied patients all over the country, people with back pain, hip pain, any pain associated with arthritis or an injury. This is not a Band-Aid. This is a revolutionary treatment that can get you moving again, get your life back, and listen, it's non-surgical. If this is the year you decide to fight back against that pain, take the first step now. Call QC Kinetics. 2 locations off of Academy and off of Orange Grove. Call QC Kinetics 520-497-4955. 520-497-4955. No surgery, no drugs, no downtime. QC Kinetics. Call them now.
At Grainger, we're for the ones who specialize in saving the day and for the ones who've mastered the art of keeping business moving. We offer industrial-grade supplies for every industry with same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders, all backed by real people ready to help. So you can get the right answers and products right when you need them. Call quickgrainger.com or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Make sure you download or update the Wildcats Radio 1290 app. We've got the entire state covered like no other sports radio station in southern Arizona. Plus, when you have the app, you can cover U of A sports with Wildcats Radio 1290 anywhere and everywhere you go and out of town, too. The mountains, the beach, working out, or maybe even...
Oh, no. Turn that off.
Download or update the Wildcats Radio 1290 app today and never miss a moment of sports analysis. Well, maybe an occasional moment. Wildcats Radio 1290.
When my daughter gets a cold, I have a secret weapon. DayQuil Kids Berry from Vicks. DayQuil Kids is specially formulated to treat kids' most bothersome cold and cough symptoms quickly. And the best part is that DayQuil Kids Berry tastes really great. Aren't you supposed to be resting? Maybe.
DayQuil Kids Berry. The kids' berry-licious daytime congestion, coughing, stuffy head, stuffy nose, just for kids. Medicine. Safe for kids 6 years plus.
At Grainger, we're for the ones who specialize in saving the day and for the ones who've mastered the art of keeping business moving. We offer industrial-grade supplies for every industry with same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders, all backed by real people ready to help. So you can get the right answers and products right when you need them. Call quickgrainger.com or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Attorney Joe Cordell.
Business owners and professionals face special challenges in divorce court. In addition to everything else going on, they have to contend with allegations that they are earning more than they are, coupled with claims on their business or practice itself. Clients with assets depend on their divorce lawyer's skills in these matters, and that's why it's so important to hire someone that has those skills.
Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's Tucson area attorneys. Joseph Cordell, licensed in Missouri and Illinois only. CordellCordell.com.
Pella in a hurry, coast to coast inside, bounce pass, Love, reverse lay-in is good.
Drive it hard to the basket when the defense converges. Lay it off to Caleb Love.
Dribble drive right. Bradley into the lane, stops there, kick it back to Love. Caleb squares up, deep three is up and good. Cats on the run. Love quickly down, stop, pop a three straight away. He's feeling it now. Caleb Love, 11 second half points. Love will go to retrieve it there, 15 to shoot, plenty of time. Love now driving the other way to the bucket and slams it down. Nobody got in his way.
Like a heat-seeking missile right down the lane. Tomahawk.
DK on the Sports Tip on Wildcats Radio 1290.
What do the young kids say now? You gonna mess around and find out. Letting Caleb Love just drive uncontested down the lane for dunks.
Rule number one is stop the ball, and they did not do
Did
that.
not. Caleb Love, after scoring 16 points on 7 of 12 shooting in the Wildcats win over Colorado and 23 points to go along with 6 assists and 6 rebounds in Arizona's 19-point win over Utah, is your Pac-12 Player of the Week. Third time in 4 Pac-12 games that Caleb Love has scored 20 or more points. He is heating it up in conference play. On the season, Caleb averaging 18 points. He's shooting a career best 44% from the floor. He's also averaging a career best 5 rebounds per ball game. And he is the Player of the Week. He is the 112th player from Arizona to be honored with the Conference Player of the Week award since the beginning of the 1979-80 season. Easily the most ever for any school, not even close. UCLA far behind in second place with 86 such Pac-12 Player of the Week selections. So congratulations to Caleb Love. He is the third Wildcat to win this award this season. Kylan Boswell won it in week 1, and Umar Ballo won it 2 weeks ago. Caleb Love, your Pac-12 Player of the Week. 520-848-1290, 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. Talking a lot about the Arizona women's basketball team as well. A 1-point loss to Colorado on Friday night. 2 good looks, one by Kaylin Gilbert and the other by Brea Cunningham at the end of that game to try to win, but came up short or long in the case of Cunningham's shot. And then a 1-point win over Utah Sunday. Kaylin Gilbert grabbing her own miss and hitting 2 free throws, and the Wildcats playing some tough defense with 1 second down the stretch to get the win over the 15th-ranked Utah Utes. Let's talk to Jim. You're on Wildcats Radio 1290, DK on the Sports Tip.
Great. Nice to talk to you. Thanks for the opportunity. I wanted to say, first of all, that I enjoyed hearing Kim Doss read her stuff regularly on Arizona Desert Swarm. I always appreciate what she has to talk about. Going back to the Colorado game, and she mentioned early on that maybe the refs were letting some foul stuff go down low. One of the things I noticed about that is it seemed like the Cats really wanted to give a message to Aaronette Vonla, of course, who transferred out from U of A, that they were not going to give her anything because the first 3 times she got the ball down low, they swarmed her 2 and 3 and going for the steal, and they did, get her in foul trouble early, and she didn't do much the first half. Unfortunately, toward the end of the game when she came back in, she had her composure and everything and contributed to the ultimate victory for Colorado. But that you were asking what things really stood out about those games. To me, it was overall the persistence of the Wildcat women just grinding miracle because Brea was still getting into some foul trouble too quickly. And on that, as far as her, I really had wished that she had made that shot at the end, not just to win the game, but what that would have done for her overall confidence.
Yeah.
I think would have been excellent going forward. But I think the way the Utah game turned out, maybe if she reflects on it a little bit and seeing that the Utah player, Peely, that had the chance at the end there, she didn't make her shot either. So, I mean, these things do happen, and hopefully she doesn't let that bog her down too much. But one other thing I just wanted to throw in is that this, I've lamented a little bit all the players that left the team after last year. And, you look at Madison Connor over at TCU, averaging over 20 and close to, 10 rebounds, and she's just burning it up over there. But what you guys had to say about the defensive buy-in, I think the key might have been for her not getting more playing time here at Arizona was while you could see her trying and making some improvement in her defensive effort, it was like maybe she never quite got up to the level of defense at the U of A that Adia really expected to get her that playing time where she would get more of an opportunity offensively. So, wonderful that she's doing great at TCU, but I can sort of understand Adia's style. She wants that intense, just relentless defense, and I'm not sure Madison could ever give that to us. But anyway, thank you very much for talking to you guys.
Absolutely, Jim. Thank you very much for your call. 520-848-1290, 520-848-1290. How about Sally Karoma in that game on Sunday? Played 19 minutes. I forgot. I meant to ask Kim about this, and I didn't get to it. Played 19 minutes with a bad shoulder, headed for surgery. Did not have to go out there on Sunday. She didn't have to do that. But felt like with the situation that we mentioned, no bigs, no front court or front court players, to come off the bench, that she had to do that she needed to do that for her team. 19 minutes and contributed 7 points. Probably couldn't lift her shoulder to get a rebound. But as you'll hear Adia Barnes say later, hey, gave us a presence to post up somebody inside, playing her last game, what she knew was going to be her last game of the season because she's going to get her shoulder surgically repaired, separated shoulder. Sounds like it keeps popping in and out. Probably one of those things you might be able to wait to get done after the season, but if you're in practice for the limited things that they're doing in practice, and even under that, you get hit, you get bumped, and it pops out, and now you're in pain. Probably best to just go get that handled right now, and that's what Sally Karoma would do. But, hey, kudos to that young lady for going out there Sunday for 19 minutes with a bad shoulder to give her team a boost off the bench. That's saying something about that young lady right there. 520-848-1290, 520-848-1290 if you want to get in on the program. We've got a lot in store for you today. We're almost through hour number 1, and we still have a ton to get to. Our question of the day, let's go there to end the hour on this. It's something we've talked about before. And what is the history, or what is the future, I should say, of this athletic department on a number of levels in terms of finances and whatnot? And I happen to notice, and I'm sure if you follow college basketball, you saw that one of our future opponents in the Big 12, Baylor, opened up a new arena last week. Basically, they built this thing in like 2 years. They announced it in December of 2021, and they opened the doors to it, what's known as Foster Pavilion, last week for both inaugural men's and women's games. Beautiful facility, They built it kind of on, I guess there's a river that runs through the middle of Waco. They built it down on the water. It's not that far from campus. I think it's like, I'm not familiar with the surroundings there, but I guess it's like, like literally probably across the street or down the street from campus. So it's still right close to the university. It's not like it's in a different part of town in Waco or anything of that nature. But what they did with this new facility is they downsized it. At their old building, their capacity was 10,300. This new facility, the capacity is 7,500. 7,000 seats, 500 standing room only tickets will be sold for every game. And we've talked about this before on this show. What's the future of McKale Center? Is it time to maybe start thinking about moving in a different direction from McKale Center? And I know that this is a hot button topic within this fan base, and I get it. But again, I think you've got to start looking at what the future of college athletics is going to be. And so in kind of looking at the fact that not only did Baylor build this new facility, but they downsized their building. Now, granted, they don't draw like Arizona does. They don't. So our question of the day, and we can get into this in the 4 o'clock hour. If U of A were to ever build a new basketball facility, would you downsize like Baylor to ensure maximum capacity, or would you upsize and allow for more seating and more fans? And I've said in the past, I believe if Arizona were ever going to move on from McKale Center, that they should upsize. Because I think this fan base and this town has the ability to go up to about 18,000 for every single Arizona Wildcats home game. But I get it. I get the thought process as well about downsizing, making your event a hot ticket, making tickets that much more difficult to get, guaranteeing that even if you don't have a sellout, you still got a very large number of people inside of the building to create that home court advantage. I get that. We've seen it done in the major leagues. I'm from Cleveland. We went from a baseball stadium that sat 70+ thousand to a baseball stadium that sat 43,000 and sold it out for 10 straight years. I remember when they opened the Pyramid in Long Beach. Long Beach State was very similar. They were playing in a much larger facility. They downsized to about 4,000, 5,000 when they built the Pyramid, and it became this crackerjack West Coast venue because they could fill it, and it was almost like capacity every single game. On a much lower scale, obviously, than, again, in terms of fan attendance that you have here, but it makes sense potentially to downsize and make that ticket even more hard for your fan base to get, to drive that need to be involved with this team. So that's our question of the day. If U of A were to ever replace McKale, would you downsize to ensure maximum capacity or upsize to allow more fans? Right now, got a lot of votes on this one already. Right now, 85% saying that they would upsize a new facility and not downsize. We can talk about that in the next hour. It is DK on the Sports Tip. I want to hear from you on that. 520-848-1290, 520-848-1290. I've got J-Dub here. Cricket is getting you home every 20 minutes on the fives with your traffic.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together. Reported collisions at Oracle and Wetmore, Stone Avenue and Grant Road, and also Ruthroff and LaChoya. And some slowing for eastbound Grant Road approaching Columbus, also northbound Swan at Speedway Boulevard. Do have a hard freeze warning in effect from midnight tonight until 10 a.m. tomorrow. 53 and sunny for tomorrow. 46 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Wendy's. Wendy's Breakfast 2 for $3 Biggie Bundles lets you choose your perfect duo from your fave 4, like a sausage or egg and cheese biscuit, small seasoned potatoes, or medium hot coffee. Limited time only during breakfast hours. U.S. price and participation may vary. Not valid in the combo. Single item at regular price.
You know, there are times when you want a new truck, and there are times when you need a new truck. So if either of those times are right now, O'Reilly Chevrolet has the time for you. O'Reilly is kicking off Savings and Selection 100. To celebrate 100 years in business, we have over 100 trucks to choose from. See them all at O'Reilly.com. Call 747-8000 or test drive one today on Broadway next to Park Place Mall. Find new roads during Savings and Selection 100 at O'Reilly Chevrolet. More than a great price.
O'Reilly Chevrolet.
Frog and Firkin, a standout among the bars and restaurants in the University area. Frog and Firkin does what very few pubs can, combine a festive atmosphere and great beer with a menu that could stand on its own in any restaurant setting. A sports enthusiast dream with over 30 TVs, 30 beers on tap, and over 100 imported domestic bottles. Daily drink and food specials, and the kitchen is serving until 10. A standout in the University area. Frog and Firkin. Eat local, support local. frogandfirkin.com.
We get you so close to McKale, it sounds like the Arizona Pep Band is riding in your back seat.
What the hell is going on?
This is the home of Arizona men's basketball. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
And we're back with the action. Coke Zero Sugar might be the best Coke ever.
That's right, Jim. With an irresistible taste and zero sugar, Coke Zero Sugar is a must-try for any sports fan. So make sure you... Wait, Jim, I didn't mean try it right now. We're still on the air.
Best Coke ever? Take a taste, Jen.
Really?
No, not right now, Jen. We got a game to call.
Ryan Radke here from Sunday Night Football on Westwood One. Join Mike Golick and me for the final game of the NFL regular season, the one that will decide the AFC East. Josh Allen of the Buffalo Bills travels south to face Tua Tagovailoa and the Dolphins. Winner gets the division title and will have home games to start the postseason. Join us for the Bills at the Dolphins on Sunday Night Football.
License to 40693.
Guys, I want to share Alaskan AC's one-year guarantee.
Yeah.
It's a big deal, a one-year guarantee.
Doesn't everyone have something like that?
Sure, but they keep your money. We give money back.
Oh. Wow. Can we say that?
Yes, like this. When Alaskan AC installs a new system, it's guaranteed for a whole year or your money back. We'll either fix it to make it work, or we'll hand you back all of your money.
This really makes other AC companies seem kinda lame? That's the word.
Another polar bear promise.
A whole year. If your AC system isn't performing like it should on day 363,
we make it right or give you back all of your money right down to the penny.
Call an Alaskan. No, call everyone else first. See if they'll put their money on the line.
They won't, because at Alaskan AC, we believe if we can't satisfy you,
we don't deserve your business. And that's a polar bear promise.
Guaranteed. Every day at AlaskanAC.com.
How wrestling really works and how you get the ratings. Eric Bischoff and Conrad Thompson explain on 83 Weeks.
I mean, I dig Jey Uso because he's born out of great storytelling and he lived up to the opportunity and exceeded it. The LA Knight, he's way up on my list because here's a guy that's been around for almost ever, should have probably quit a half a dozen times, and he just forced his way into their life. And now he's making money hand over fist. That is a story I love.
83 Weeks on YouTube or wherever you listen.
KCUB Tucson, a Cumulus media station. We are the sports station that Tucson turns to for all the latest news when it comes to Arizona men's basketball, along with all the play-by-play action. We are Wildcats Radio 1290.
The roar of our engines, the pump of our heartbeats, the pedal to our metal, the sparks that ignite us, the pistons that push us, the passions that drive us. From the feelings that move us to the places that pull us on the roads that unite us. With nearly 6,000 stores and over 17,000 auto care centers, Napa has America's largest network of parts and care, here to keep you firing on all cylinders.
Cookie wants to be a professional wrestler.
I'm Cookie Serratos, and I'm 11 years old.
She also wants to win all the medals. That's why Cookie and her family make every day count, squeezing out her best with Go-Go Squeeze.
Okay, Cookie, let's break for a Go-Go Squeeze.
Go-Go Squeeze Fruit on the Go pouches are a nutritious snack made from 100% fruit with no sugar added.
Go, Cookie!
Because when you nurture your kids, you squeeze out the best in them. Squeeze out the best with Go-Go Squeeze. Not a low-calorie food. Products range from 11 to 13 grams of sugar and 60 to 70 calories per serving.
Live from the CNWT.
From the what?
Central Northwest Tucson. Duh.
It's DK on the Sports Tip with your host, David Kelly.
Radio. Just when I thought I was out, they drug me back in.
Featuring J.W. Madden.
Don't tell me about flip-flops, man. I'm a native.
And Cricket getting you home with traffic and weather.
Camp on Melt Lemon, not in the left lane on the freeway.
Here we go! And now, a man who has not one, but three first names, David Scott Kelly.
Wildcats throw it to Larson, slam it home. Timeout. Pella Larson just scored his 1,000th point. Caleb holding inside to Ballo. Pump fake and slam it home.
Big post up from Big Ballo. Carlson can do nothing but watch the dunk.
17 for Ballo. Tell you about that in a moment. That's his 1,000th point.
1,000 point club entrance on their college careers for both Pella Larson and Umar Ballo in that game on Saturday. The 92-73 win for the Arizona Wildcats over the Utah Utes. Umar is now sitting at 940 career points at Arizona, so he will most likely get to 1,000 on his U of A career. Pella would have to probably go crazy. It's not, I don't know if it's not impossible for Pella to get to 1,000 on his U of A career, but he would have to really ramp up his average in order to do that. But both of them 1,000. Pella at Utah and Arizona, Umar at Gonzaga and Arizona this past weekend. So congratulations to those two young men. We mentioned Caleb Love, the Pac-12 Player of the Week, for his performances over the weekend. It was a dunk fest Saturday night. The Wildcats had 11 slam dunk baskets in that game to beat the Utah Utes at McKale Center, which was packed. Just under 15,000 as always. A raucous crowd, considering the students were not on campus. Today, I believe, is the first day of school for the spring semester, or maybe, I think it might be Wednesday. I think it's actually later in the week. I don't think it actually starts on Monday. But it's this week. Students will be back on campus. They'll be back for the next home series when the Los Angeles schools come to town next week. But still a very good crowd at McKale Center Saturday night.
Pella also could come back next year, right?
I think, yeah.
Because he's a 4-year senior.
Right.
In fact, he didn't even sit out a year between Utah and Arizona. So he started his career in 2020, and he's now a 4th-year senior. So he would still be eligible for that COVID year, right? So technically, he could come back because he falls in that scope. But yeah, he would need another 196 points. Yeah, the crowds were great. I think anytime you have, now that we're in the Pac-12 season, some of those crowds earlier in the year when Coach Lloyd was talking about maybe needing a little more energy from the crowd at a 9 p.m. tip on a Friday night, those kind of things, you don't really have that apply when rivals come into town. And not like Utah and Colorado have been in the conference as long as some of the other schools, obviously, only about 15 years. But because of the proximity and because Arizona and Colorado in particular have gone out after a lot of the same recruits in Southern California these last 15 years, I just think the crowd knows it's the last time that Utah and Colorado, as members of the Pac, will be coming in. And I expect the crowds to be as enthusiastic. Obviously, we know what they'll be like for the LA schools in 2 weeks. But every home game from now on, I just expect the crowd to be enthusiastic and to send the Cats out in their final season of the Pac the right way.
And J-Dub, college athletics, and we know this because we're in it, has always been a keeping up with the Joneses situation.
Yeah.
I mean, all you got to do is look at Oregon. I mean, Oregon with Phil Knight's money, they build all these shiny new things. They renovate Autzen Stadium. They built Matthew Knight Arena. They left the legendary, what was it, the pit?
Yeah.
You know, they left the legendary pit, moved on from that to something shiny and new. And you wonder again, we've wondered it a lot since I started doing this show in June, if there's going to become a point where it might be time for the Arizona Wildcats to address that. And I know that this is something that a lot of you don't want to talk about. But Baylor, who we are going to be competing with in the Big 12, just opened up a shiny new toy last week called Foster Pavilion.
I did look it up. It's about 0.8 miles away from campus, so you could walk there.
Yeah, you could walk there because the weather's good like it is here, although sometimes it probably does snow a little bit more in Waco than it does here. They just opened up a shiny new toy, and we all know how these kids today, these young student athletes of today, like their shiny new toys. They like the new, they like the glitz, they like the glamour, they like the see-through windows. They like the fresh locker rooms. And that's not to say that U of A hasn't gone above and beyond with all of that, but they're still playing in a building that was built in 1970. And now you're kidding. I mean, Baylor, when they go out on the recruiting trail, and they've won a national championship more recently than the University of Arizona, and now they've got a shiny new toy to pitch to their recruits and say, hey, come play in this fabulous facility. And they downsized. They went from a bigger building to a smaller building. So our question of the day today is, if U of A were to ever replace McKale, maybe they won't, but if they were, would you downsize or would you upsize? J-Dub, your thoughts?
You know, I worked at a bar on campus at U of A for 8 or 9 years, and back in those days, it was just a dingy old house that had been renovated into a bar, and yet there was a magic there because the people who I worked with and our regulars and the vibe on the street before the back-end parking and the patio was 20 feet bigger. And I was there for about 9 years. 15 years later, you go back, it's got a gigantic new addition. There's 1,000 televisions around. It's got everything's been fixed, and there's no magic there for me because it's just a building. It's just not the same for me. And my question to those recruits who would look at a Baylor shiny new building and then look at McKale, is that the decision-making factor that you really care about as a coach for Coach Lloyd? I'm not going to question whether or not they should build a new place. I mean, I love McKale. I grew up in McKale. I agree with you that they wouldn't necessarily need to downsize anything. I think that size, maybe give or take 1,000. But what I'm saying is if that's your deciding factor to pick a university, that's Kentucky style. I mean, most of those recruits, right, those 5 stars that Calipari's gotten, is because they built a $5 million dorm specifically for the basketball players. So if you want a PlayStation in your bathroom, go to Kentucky, right? But base that has led their conference in attendance for 40 consecutive years, you come to Tucson, right? I just think it's different animals. But as far as could you fill 17,000 or more? Sure. I think you definitely could. Then it becomes a question of, is it intimate enough, right? The bigger you get, the more spacious those buildings get, the less college atmosphere it feels like to me.
Well, that's one of the reasons that from what I was reading, they built this in a field house mentality, which is, and again, we've talked about that term field house, goes back to kind of the 60s and the 70s. In some of the older venues where college basketball was like the lab where it was perfected during the days before McKale Center opened. That's kind of how they built this. They built it in partnership with the city of Waco. And one of the other things we have mentioned about, there are never any other ancillary events in McKale Center. Now, this thing, because it is built in partnership with the city, is open to 90 events per year, whether that's concerts or whatever they want to put in there, but it's available for 90%. In fact, the city, although it's Baylor's home, the city operates it.
Yeah.
And so that's a whole different dynamic that you would have to figure out here in Tucson, because I believe if there is a different venue in the future, it's going to have to be some type of partnership between the university and the city for that to happen.
Yeah, and it's not just the U of A that's having budgetary issues. The whole state is right now.
Yeah.
So that's a tough time to ask. Have you been, I mean, I know you're at USC. Have you been to many great, like the great historic buildings like in Raleigh-Durham? The only one I think I could ever say I'd ever been to is Assembly Hall. I went to a game at Assembly Hall.
In Illinois?
In Indiana.
Oh, Indiana.
Yeah, for the Hoosiers. It was Hoosiers and the Wolverines when the Fab Five were with Michigan as freshmen. I went to that game. But that building has it only has seats on two sides of the court, basically. So both the baselines only probably have about 30 seats above them, and then it's just a big wall. So it feels a lot more like a high school setup, but very intimate. You know, you could tell that the fans, the noise, the atmosphere, it just feels like a college atmosphere.
And you know something else I noticed, J-Dub, just from looking at some of the video from this past weekend is, and I'm going to put some of this up on our website, on our stream right now. If you have a chance to get on over to one of our streams, we're on Twitch, we're on Twitter, we're on Facebook Live, and this is something else we've talked about, putting students back on the floor. They've got a section of seats, and it's funny how they did this. They've got a section of seats. It's not right behind the visiting team's bench, but it's behind the scores table between the two benches.
Yeah.
For students to allow them to be in a proximity where they can have an impact on the visiting team without necessarily being right on top of them.
Those of us who are longtime visitors to McKale remember when that switch happened and that they moved all the students behind the backboards. I don't remember exactly when that went down, but it was a long time ago now. It's been a minute. It's so tough when you play at places like Raleigh-Durham against Duke, and you even on television, right, DK, and you see that those first row, 15 rows, 30 rows of students right behind the play-by-play guys are all rabid students with their shirts off and faces painted, and they're basically a member. They're part of the experience. They're part of the game because they're right on top of the court. Here in Tucson, clearly they made the choice long ago that any kind of booster money coming from the foothills of Tucson, Arizona would be more valuable to the university than having those rabid fans right there on courtside. I'm not here to decide to tell you which decision is, but I know that there's been a lot of complaints in these last 20, 30 years that the energy level right at courtside might not be at the level that some of the coaches have wanted it to be at.
All right, we're going to get much more into this. We're going to talk to John Morris. He is the voice of the Baylor Bears. I want to find out his thoughts on this new facility, why they downgraded seating, what was behind that, and how they plan to use this as a tool in the Big 12 and what is going to be a new Big 12, which is going to be our future home come the beginning of the 24-25 athletic year. John Morris, the voice of the Baylor Bears, will join us next. It's DK on the Sports Tip. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290. Cricket is getting you home every 20 minutes with your traffic and your weather.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together. With collisions, Ruthroff and La Cholla, Fort Lowell and Oracle, and also a collision in the median from the westbound side of I-10 near Alvernon. Some backups westbound Ajo at Mission, eastbound Grant Road approaching Columbus, also busy for you. Westbound Grant and westbound Speedway both approaching I-10. Hard freeze warning from midnight tonight until 10 a.m. tomorrow, 53 and sunny tomorrow, and 46 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Progressive Insurance. At Progressive, they're making things even easier. They'll help you bundle your home and car insurance together so you can save on both. Learn more at progressive.com or 1-800-PROGRESSIVE. That's progressive.com or 1-800-PROGRESSIVE.
Hey, Coach Fish, congrats on the Alamo Bowl.
Beat chased and sacked. Jacob Manu, back-to-back territorial cups. A dominating afternoon in Tempe.
You heard it all right here on Wildcats Radio 1290.
You can make the decision right now to get lasting relief from that awful joint pain for 2024. Your body has what it needs to restore and repair that damaged joint tissue Call QC Kinetics. They can make it happen with no drugs, no surgery, and no downtime. The future pain treatments has arrived, and QC has tens of thousands of satisfied patients all over the country, people with back pain, hip pain, any pain associated with arthritis or an injury. This is not a Band-Aid. This is a revolutionary treatment that can get you moving again, get your life back, and listen, it's non-surgical. If this is the year you decide to fight back against that pain, take the first step now. Call QC Kinetics. 2 locations off of Academy and off of Orange Grove. Call QC Kinetics 520-497-4955. 520-497-4955. No surgery, no drugs, no downtime. QC Kinetics. Call them now.
Hi, it's Floyd, the family man with the family plan. Outdated HVAC systems will drive up your electric bill, drain your wallet, and peace of mind. Save now at Goodfellas with no payments or interest till 2024. Get a 30% federal tax credit, up to $2,000 off qualifying heat pumps. Trust Goodfellas. We're locally owned with thousands of 5-star reviews. Good service, good prices, Goodfellas. Visit us at goodfellasac.com to schedule a no-cost estimate.
You want to protect her, you'll give anything to make sure nothing harms her. Every minute together makes unforgettable memories. Except that time you parked her under that tree and...
Oh, come on, man, really?
Sorry, we'll never speak of it again. But remember who came to her rescue? Recon Auto Detailing. Arizona's premier auto detailing company comes directly to you. We'll make your masterpiece shine like it should, and with a monthly maintenance package, we'll keep it that way. Recon Auto Detailing. Online at recondetail.com.
Listen to the home of the Wildcats wherever you are on your iPhone and iPad by downloading our new app in the App Store so you can tune in wherever you are 24 hours a day. The home of the Wildcats is everywhere. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
When you use Bounce dryer sheets and your clothes look amazing, it's the sheet. Less static in your life? Yeah, it's the sheet. Smelling fresher than ever? It's the sheet. Oh, so soft fabric? Ooh la la, it's the sheet. Less wrinkles on your clothes? You know it's the sheet. Bounce dryer sheets. More freshness, more softness. Less static, less wrinkles. It's the sheet.
What's that sound? That's the sound of Downy Unstoppable scent beads going into your washing machine and giving your clothes freshness that lasts all day long. There it is again. It's like music to your ears, or more like music to your nose. That freshness is irresistible. Let's get a Downy Unstoppables bottle shake. And now a sniff solo. Nice. Get 6 times longer lasting freshness plus odor protection with Downy Unstoppables in-wash scent beads.
Want to support a nonprofit that helps youth and adults in the most challenging moments of their lives and save hundreds of dollars on your Arizona taxes? Donate to Intermountain today and receive a dollar-for-dollar tax credit and support their work for their more than 20,000 at-risk individuals each year. To make your gift and for more information, visit intermountaincenters.org. Intermountain, serving Arizona's health need for 50 years.
DK on the Sports Tip on Wildcats Radio 1290.
All right, our question of the day here is, if you were going to build a new basketball facility here in Tucson, replace the legendary McKale Center, would you downsize? 15,000 right now, would you downsize to maybe like 12,000? Would you, to ensure maximum capacity? Would you upsize maybe to allow more seating and fans to come in to watch Arizona basketball? Baylor just opened up a new shiny facility in Waco. It's called the Foster Pavilion, and they downsized by almost 3,000 seats. That's our question of the day. Head on over right now to our Twitter page at Wildcats1290, and you can vote on that right now. 80+% of the people are saying upsize if you were going to build something new. Let's talk about this with the voice of the Baylor Bears. His name is John Morris. John, appreciate you taking a few minutes to join us today.
David, great to be on with you. Sounds like an interesting topic this afternoon.
Well, and it's one we've been kind of talking about throughout this. I started doing the show in June, and we've kind of broached it a few times over the course of the last 6 months in relation to the fact the Wildcats played at the legendary Cameron Indoor Stadium and moving into the Big 12 and the finances of athletics and how you make the most of your finances. And maybe if you know, because I believe this is a fan base in an area where you could probably put another 2,000 to 3,000 people into Arizona men's basketball games every single home game, that maybe a new building might make sense. Not something our fan base really wants to talk about, but I wanted to get just some background on how this all went down in Baylor. And one, I guess the big question I have is why the decision to downsize from 10,000 to 7,000, and what kind of went into that?
Sure. And I would say this, number one, I'm not an expert on the subject.
Okay.
I'll tell you our thought process here, okay? But from a Baylor perspective, we have been in the Farrell Center since 1988-89 season was the first season there, so 35 and a half years. It seated 10,248, okay? So that's what we're used to, 10,248, a multi-purpose building that was home to basketball, volleyball, acrobatics and tumbling, concerts, acrobatics and tumbling, things like that, at graduations. So from our perspective, from a Baylor perspective, and this was really driven by our head coaches, they said we fill up 10-2 every once in a while, but not every night. What if we had a smaller arena, lower capacity, that we could fill up more often and have the fans right on top of the floor, right on top of the opponents, and make it more of a home court advantage for us? And so that was the way we went. The new Foster Pavilion opened January 2nd. We've had 1 men's and 2 women's games played in there so far. It seats 7,500. It is what the coach wanted, more of a home court advantage. The fans are right on top of the stands. Of the floor. It's more vertical than it would be horizontal, going away from the floor. So that was the thought process here. And so far, the early returns have been really good. Men's basketball is sold out, every ticket, for the whole year. Women's basketball, there's a few tickets remaining, so they got some single game sales. But it's from our perspective for Baylor, it's been really good.
And in turn, and one of the things I was talking about in the segment before we brought you on was the fact that, again, like you said, your initial building that you're moving from was built in 1988. The Wildcats were playing in a building that was bought in 1970. Kids now, for better or worse, they like the shiny. They like the new. We've kind of seen it happen with the involvement of the University of Oregon and Phil Knight throwing massive money into the Matthew Knight Arena, the renovation of Autzen Stadium, and some of the newer facilities in baseball and softball that they have there. Kids today like that. They love the shiny windows and the fancy locker rooms. And was that a feeling that was also something we need to maybe create something that's newer to attract today's student athlete?
I would think everything that schools do these days has a recruiting angle to it, right? Like everything they do. So that was definitely a consideration for us. And the thought process for Baylor began, do we renovate the Farrell Center, which has been around for 35 years, or do we build brand new? So there was consideration given to renovating the Farrell Center, and then the thought was overwhelmingly, let's do something brand new.
When you look at, obviously, where this facility was, and my understanding is it's not that far from campus, correct? It's like less than a mile, so it's not like it's on the other side of town, correct?
That is absolutely correct, yes.
So when you look at the fact that also that this was kind of a marriage between the university and the city, was that a difficult marriage to put together? How did that whole aspect come together? And was that something from the university standpoint on your side that you guys felt like you needed the city in order to make this happen?
That's a really good question, and there was a lot of conversation about that. You know, where would we build the new arena? Baylor has some land right on the other side of one road from the current Farrell Center. Could have built right there, but really, again, the overwhelming thinking was this would benefit Waco Waco proper, if we build on the other side of I-35. So I-35 runs right through Waco, north and south. And the Brazos River is right there. And our football stadium, McKale Stadium, is on one side of the river, and now Foster Pavilion is on the other side of the river, on the other side, the southbound side of I-35. Okay, so picture that for our, two largest facilities, football and basketball. They're right on the river, and they're right on the interstate. And there's, I don't know the number of millions of cars that drive up and down I-35, every year. So that's a factor also. But by having it on the opposite side of the interstate, which is away from campus, but not that far. I mean, it's within walking distance of campus. There are also opening up opportunities for businesses in downtown Waco, because people are going to park down that way. You come, you park in downtown Waco, you go to dinner at a place, and then you come to Foster Pavilion for a game. So it's a win-win, really, for Baylor and for the city. And I think that was definitely a part of the decision-making process, put it where we did.
John Morris is joining us. He's the voice of the Baylor Bears for, 27 years? Do I have that number right, John?
Oh, something like that. Yeah.
He's been around a long time. The other thing I noticed just from watching some of the highlights, and this is something else we have talked about on our show, is it appears that there is at least one section of student seating that is right behind the scores table in the bench area. Was there a concerted effort to try to get students back onto the floor, or at least close to the floor in that respect, or did they have that similar type of seating in the old facility?
No, it wasn't like that at the other facility, and it was a huge factor in building this one. Picture Cameron Indoor, okay, with the Cameron Crazies along that one side. Well, that's what we've got now with that number of student seats right there along the side of the court. It's opposite the TV cameras, so they show, their enthusiasm shows. It's right behind the home bench. It's right behind the visiting bench, so that's a factor also. But, the students here, I mean, they are treated very well, because they get those seats in Foster Pavilion. They have the same section of seats at McKale Stadium, which is along the sideline on the opposite side from our press box. And so that would be right behind the visiting team also. So for a Baylor student, they've got really the best of the best as far as seating options in our two main facilities.
And the other thing, John, that we're seeing with a lot of these new, either whether it's a new facility or renovations to athletic venues is areas where fans can stand and be social. And I mean, I'm from Cleveland, and they've, they're on their second remodel of creating more open standing areas for folks that want to go watch the Guardians play baseball. The Cavaliers, they created a top level standing bar area there where people can congregate and watch the game in a more social atmosphere as well. Was that something else with the 500 standing room that you guys thought was important to have an area like that? And is that something that can be expanded where eventually maybe you say, well, it's going so well with 500, let's expand it and maybe we sell 1,000 standing room only seats now?
Maybe. I haven't heard that conversation, but I tell you one thing that was very intentional on our part is to have open concourse area. So the main concourse area, which is at mid-level, you can walk back to the concession stand, and you can be ordering a Dr. Pepper drink here, and you can turn around and see the floor. So I think that's really cool. We go to a lot of different arenas, and you appreciate the nuances of all of those. But I think this one is really cool to know that you really don't have to miss any of the action. Even if you go to the concession stand, you can still turn around and see what's going on the floor.
John, before we let you go, what's the feeling in Baylor Nation about the new look Big 12 that we will all be married into come next year?
Yeah, can't wait. I think it's going to be great. We've added the 4 new schools this year, and then the 4 new, including Arizona, 4 more next year. I talked to our softball coach yesterday, and he was just talking about what a bear this league is going to be in softball when you add Arizona and Arizona State, and Utah to the league next year. So I think in every sport it's going to be another upgrade, and really can't wait. It's exciting to think about what the 16-team Big 12 is going to look like starting next year.
All right, what do we got? What do we got to see when we come to Waco starting next year? What's the first thing we got to do?
Yeah. All right. Well, if you're a fixer-upper fan, or anybody listening is, we've got Magnolia here, so you got to go by Magnolia and see that stuff, and then watch the TV show. And Chip and Joe are regulars at Baylor games, so they were at our men's opener last Tuesday, so they may be at a game when Arizona comes to town. I would see that, and then the Brazos River I mentioned runs right by campus, which is really nice. So I think I would encourage your listeners to plan a trip to Waco and come and see another part of the country. Maybe don't come in the middle of the summer.
Kind of like
come
here.
when it cools off a little bit. Yeah, exactly. I don't know if it'd be any cooler than leaving your area, but it's a great part of the world, and we look forward to your folks coming to see us.
Yeah, and I hear Bill Gates is hanging around too. Nothing wrong with having that money down there, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. We want to keep him coming every chance we get.
There you go. Hey, John, appreciate you taking a few minutes to just kind of give us an indication on the background of the new facility down there, and one we'll be seeing obviously a lot more coming up starting next year.
That's great. David, let me add one more thing.
Yeah.
Baylor's not the only school that has done this. In our area, SMU and Houston have gone to smaller configurations. And believe it or not, the University of Texas last year opened a new arena.
Right.
They went from 16,300 to 10,000 seating for basketball. And if the big bad, University of Texas can go to a smaller configuration, you would think other schools might say, oh, okay, there are some benefits to that. So Baylor's not the only school doing it. It's a perfect move for us, and be interesting to watch and see what you guys do with the McKale Center.
Absolutely. Hey, John, thanks again. We'll talk to you down the road.
Great to visit with you. Thanks very much.
John Morris, the voice of the Baylor Bears, has been our guest, getting you home every 20 minutes on the fives with your traffic and your weather. Her name is Cricket.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together. With some slowdowns, Ajo and Mission for southbound and westbound traffic. Westbound Grant, westbound Speedway, both approaching I-10 for more slowing. Reported collisions, Valencia to the east of Cardinal. Campbell and Fort Lowell, I-10 near Alvernon off in the median, and also clearing Ruthrop and La Jolla. Hard freeze warning from midnight tonight till 10 tomorrow morning. 53 and sunny for tomorrow and 46 now. And I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Progressive Insurance is making it easy to save money. When you bundle your auto policy with home, condo, or renters, you'll earn a multi-policy discount. Easy to bundle, easy to save. Visit Progressive.com. That's Progressive.com.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-8695. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. There is zero risk to you. If we can't reduce your tax debt, then you pay nothing. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have a 5-star rating on Google and Yelp and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-8695. That's 800-575-8695. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
BetMGM is giving you a chance to be a part of the big game. Place at least $100 on Pro Football Bets Weekly to enter for a chance to win the ultimate trip to Vegas and 2 tickets to attend the big game. Must go to BetMGM.com/touchdown in Vegas for full terms and conditions, including a free alternate method of entry. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to gamble responsibly. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. 21 years of age or older to wager. Arizona only. New and existing customer offer. All promotions subject to qualification and eligibility requirements. First online real money wager only. Rewards issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets. Bonus bets expire 7 days from issuance. Please gamble responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP.
What's holding you back from learning the language you've always wanted to know?
Too hard.
Takes too long.
Not with Babbel. Babbel's lessons take just 15 minutes a day.
15 minutes isn't long.
Nope. And they're fun. So you don't realize you're learning a language, but you are. In 3 weeks, you're able to start having conversations. And Babbel's lessons are built around real life.
And with Babbel, it isn't hard.
It's perfect.
Start learning a new language today. Go to Babbel.com. That's BABBEL.com.
You still thinking job change in the new year?
Yeah, I need something that's in high demand and more stable in this economy.
IT?
Yeah, cybersecurity, maybe even AI.
That's what I did.
Really? How?
Went to My Computer Career. You don't need any prior experience, and you could start your new career in a matter of months. A lot of IT pros go to school there, too, to level up.
Sweet. Are classes online or on campus?
Both.
Wow, I'll check it out. Thanks.
Make this your year. Take the free career evaluation now at mycomputercareer.edu. Financial aid is available for qualified students, including the GI Bill.
The moments that matter to Wildcats fans are only on 1290. Whether we win,
Put together a solid one tonight. Arizona 31, Texas El Paso 10. That's your final.
or whether we lose.
For review, the runner's elbow was down with the ball short of the 15-yard line.
1290 is always there by your side to bring you all the raw emotion of the moments that matter to Wildcats fans. We are Wildcats Radio 1290.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
Hey, good morning. You're heading to the airport, right?
Yep, thanks for checking. I like the car. How long have you been a rideshare driver?
About 3 years now, but I really enjoy it.
Isn't it hard to make money these days with the price of gas being so high?
Not for me. I use Upside, the free app that gives you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get real money back when you get gas with the Upside app?
Yep, I get real cash back every time I get gas.
Does that actually add up to anything?
I'll make around $200 to $300.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the Upside app now.
Download the free Upside app now to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code SCORE for an extra 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. You can cash out anytime, right to your bank account, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code SCORE for a 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code SCORE.
You're going to need it all. You know, they're a really good team over there, and they do a lot of good things, you know. So, you know, I feel like the biggest thing is just executing. You know, it's just all about execution, you know, just trusting in our preparation and our offense that we have. And at the end of the day, as long as we execute, we'll be able to get it done. So.
DK on the Sports Tip on Wildcats Radio 1290.
Michael Penix Jr. will lead the Washington Huskies into the national championship game tonight against the Michigan Wolverines. There is a college football championship game tonight. Now, I said last week that I generally pay this game absolutely no mind because I'm not a fan of the college football playoff, have not been a fan of the college football playoff, stopped supporting the college football playoff, so I don't watch it. I don't talk about it other than maybe when I was in TV. I generally would probably take this night off so I don't even have to deal with it. But because it is the Washington Huskies, the final year of the Pac-12, and this is the last incarnation of this college football playoff as we currently know it, I will give the game, and essentially it is the Rose Bowl just being played in Houston. I'll give it a little bit of love tonight. That was Michael Penix Jr., and I mentioned he'll quarterback the Huskies. Let's hear from his his coach, Kalen DeBoer, who talked about getting this young man to come with him to Washington and what that has meant for this program.
Two things I can think of. I mean, there's many, but it would be who he is as a person and obviously the skill set that he brings along with his talents and all that. So I knew that he's a guy you could build a team around. That production-wise was going to go out there and give you everything you needed, throwing the football, running an offense, leading a football team. But then as a person, he's a guy that you're willing and never going to question having out front and center in moments like this, out in the community, anything. He's just going to speak well. He's going to know what to say and how it always brings our team closer together.
That is Kalen DeBoer, the head coach of the Washington Huskies. Now, if you are a fan of the University of Michigan, there is a watch party tonight here in Tucson. A friend of mine just texted me this. The Michigan fans are getting together tonight at Wilbur's Grill, which is at the Viscount Suites Hotel out on the east side, East Broadway Boulevard. Their party starts at about 5:30. I believe that's when the game starts. I think the game's at 5:30, so I'm sure you can go before 5:30. So Michigan party at the Viscount tonight. I don't know if there's a University of Washington Huskies party. I should have looked into that beforehand, but I'm sure there is plenty of places that will have the game on tonight. All right, 520-848-1290. 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. Let's talk to Amy. You're on DK on the Sports Tip, Wildcats Radio 1290.
Hey, first of all, Happy New Year. Good to talk to you guys again.
Happy New Year to you, Amy.
I did communicate with someone on Facebook from the UW Arizona alumni group, and there is no gathering down here. There is one in Scottsdale, a little bit late for that. But for before next season, they will be looking at a place for Husky fans to gather down here.
Okay.
Anyway, yeah, go Huskies.
So where are you going to watch the game tonight, Amy?
Yeah. Well, I wanted to go to Houston, but I got sick with the flu and strep throat.
Oh, boy.
Recovering from that. So not contagious anymore, so I'll probably go to that sports bar and restaurant on La Jolla, right near the old Foothills Mall. I forget what it's called. Used to be the Fox and Hound.
Yeah, it used to be the Fox and Hound, and yeah, it's I believe it's called Champs now. Somebody called in last week and told us it was Champs. I forget what it was before Champs. Yeah, but it has gone through a number of.
I think it was the Fox and Hound. So that's where I'll be.
Oh, cool.
Nice. Go all decked out in my purple and gold.
Ooh.
So, yep.
Very good.
I bleed purple.
What do you think? What do you want to see happen tonight, other than a win?
The win.
Just a win. No 5 touchdown passes from Michael Penix. No 300-yard receiving game from Roma Dunze. Just a win.
Just a win. I'm not a numbers person to begin with.
Okay. All right.
I know nothing. I don't pay attention to numbers.
Are you taking now? If I'm not mistaken, you're married to a gentleman who went to that school up north. Are you dragging him with you tonight?
He wants to see the game. Yeah,
he's
not even going to go to Boy Scouts with our boys.
Wow.
They aren't going to. We're all going to. All
punting,
5 of us are going to go see
punting
the game.
boys. You guys are punting Boy Scout troop tonight.
We are. We are. He said that. Yep.
See how big football is in this country?
I was very surprised as you were. As you are.
Outstanding. Well, Amy, you have a great time tonight. I grew up in Ohio, so I never want to see Michigan win anything. I did.
No.
I even did not want to see them win last week, and I don't like Alabama. I wanted Alabama to beat them, but it didn't happen. So
we want the Pac-12 to win.
Exactly.
David Kelly.
Hopefully, Washington will win tonight and make us all happy, considering the forces that helped to blow up our conference.
Yeah, Amy. Most Tucsonans are Husky fans tonight. Just know that to be true.
I'll tell you, I'm emotional to begin with. It's just my nature, but I'm tearing up just thinking about how the Pac-12 is dissolving. I'm sad.
Yeah.
I'm sad. A lot of memories.
I'm with you there. I'm with you there as a Pac-12 alum myself.
Oh my goodness.
Never going to be the same.
No, sir. No, sir.
Well, Amy,
All right.
call us tomorrow and we can talk about what happened.
And I can't say it's the dog eat cat world anymore, can I?
You cannot. And wait, I'm
All
sure
right.
there might be. Are there any cats in the Big Ten? No, I don't think there are. Dog eat boiler. Dog, don't get too close to the boiler. Dog eat gopher. Dog eat gopher. That'll work. Yeah, we can do that. Dog eat gopher.
Awful. That is awful.
I'm trying to help you get used to your new conference there.
There's
Amy.
another Wildcats. I don't know. No, there's the Connecticut Huskies. I know that. There's no, there is another Wildcats.
Northwestern.
No.
Yeah, dog eat cat. There you go, Northwestern. Forgot about them.
Yeah.
The Purple Cats.
Yeah. No, is it Northwestern?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
It is.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. So you're
but they aren't the same. Arizona Wildcats are better.
Amy, you want the full list? You got Hoosiers, Terrapins, Wolverines, Spartans, Buckeyes, Nittling Lions, Scarlet Knights, Fighting Illini, Hawkeyes, Golden Gophers, Cornhuskers, Wildcats from Northwestern, the Boilermakers, and the Badgers.
There you go.
This entire thing is stupid. I'm sorry. It's just.
You're speaking to the choir, Amy. I totally agree with you.
Makes me mad.
All right. Well, at least allow yourself to get over that anger and enjoy the game tonight, Amy.
Go Huskies.
Go Huskies. Indeed. Thank you so much for your call.
Ciao, guys.
All right. Look for Amy out at Champs tonight watching the game. 520-848-1290. She'll be the one wearing the Husky colors. 520-848-1290. Let's talk to our guy, Doug. I won't have to read all of his tweets because he is on the air. DK on the Sports Tip, Wildcat Radio 1290.
Hey, David. Hey, J-Dub. It's great to talk to you guys. Midweek for a change.
Yeah,
you too. And I wanted to say up front, I'm a friend of the show. I love you guys. I hope I still feel that way at the end of this call. But you definitely struck a nerve with me when you bring up changing McKale Center. So I had to call in. I mean, I know you're just kind of exploring the topic because of what Baylor did, but I've got thoughts. I've got lots of thoughts.
Okay.
And,
lay them out there, Doug.
Yeah.
Got about 5 minutes.
That. Okay. Well, one thing I'll just mention that you guys probably don't know about me, and I hope it doesn't come across as too braggy, but I've been to about 200 college campuses.
Ooh.
I've been to every Power 5 school except for St. John's and Seton Hall. So,
you've been to games or just to campuses?
No. I've been to some games, but I've just been to the campuses, and I always try to get in to see the football stadium and the basketball arena.
Okay.
So I've been in every SEC school, every Big Ten, every Big 12, every Pac-12 school, and seen their facilities. So I can speak to this with some authority. I have been to games at some places. So, like you mentioned, Assembly Hall at Indiana, and it's a dump. And so, I mean, as J-Dub says, the sight lines are pretty bad. I got a seat way up high. I went to a game there, and it holds like 18,000, I think. And but you're a mile high in the sky if you get one of the worst seats. And so I could see a place like that actually feels outdated, looking at having like an alternative stadium, although they probably never would because it's holy to them, You look at a place like the Dean Dome, it's the same thing. It feels like it was made in the 70s at North Carolina. And then you get sterile places like the Yum Center where Louisville plays, or, I'm trying to think of some of the other ones. Well, like Gonzaga has the kennel, but then they also have the Spokane Civic Center or whatever it was.
The Yum Center is relatively newer, but you're saying it's nothing to write home about?
Well, it's just like TCC or something. It has no feel to it. You can go there and you could watch, Taylor Swift, or you could watch a basketball game. It doesn't have any charm to it. South Carolina has the same kind of thing where it's not on campus. It's just sort of down, it's a little bit removed from everything. It's a great facility. They host NCAA tournament games, but it doesn't have any campus charm. So I guess my question, just to back up, is what problem would we be trying to solve by messing with McKale? By replacing it or trying to expand it or reduce it? Like, what problem are we trying to solve? It's already one of the greatest venues in college basketball. Arizona is always very high in the nation in terms of basketball revenue. I don't see Tommy having a lot of trouble getting the recruits, so it doesn't seem like these guys are turned off by anything that they're seeing. So what problem are we trying to solve?
I don't know if we're trying to solve. Well, if there's one problem that I see potentially, it's the revenue problem. And if you're playing in a bigger, and this is why, and my whole thing has always been, if I think you can get more people into the building, and that's more revenue. This is a university that in an athletic department that needs revenue. And if you can, if you go to a bigger facility that you can build around, kind of like, and maybe have some things that are ancillary to the event that is Arizona basketball, you could potentially increase your revenue. I'm just looking for more revenue streams.
Yeah.
And I think a new facility is a way to bring in that more revenue.
Okay, so that sounds counter to the whole premise of what Baylor's doing, which is downsizing, right? Or what Texas did. And by the way, the Irwin Center at Texas was similar to like the Dean Dome. It felt outdated. McKale, to me, especially with the renovations we did in 2014 or so, doesn't feel outdated to me at all from the outside or the inside, you know? So I think that what you're saying kind of eliminates the whole prospect of reduction in size. You're talking about expansion or replacement with something larger to generate more revenue, right?
Well, that's the way I would look at it. Now, don't get me wrong. Just because you downsize doesn't mean you can't increase your revenue. Because if you're building a new facility, facility, there's going to be newer revenue streams, I think, within that facility, whether it's concessions, whether it's things around the facility. Like you said, they're John Moore said they're building it downtown. It kind of brings a different ambiance to the whole factor of having that night out kind of thing. Which I don't
there's
know.
The multi-use complexes out there,
and that's one of the things that even Dave Hickey has said when I've broached this topic with him. Is they'd like to have some things that are ancillary to coming out and watching the basketball game that their fans can enjoy. So you're not just coming to McKale, but you can make a night of it. You can make an event, create more of an event type situation out of it.
And I think I think there's some development going up at 6th and Campbell. There's going to be more of that stuff within a short walk of the games, but I just don't know that it has to. Like Greg Byrne was talking about, building a new downtown facility in partnership with the city, and I'm not saying that I'd be entirely opposed to that. As if you took the Gonzaga model, where you play most of your games on campus, but the occasional game in a neutral site, or like UConn, they have their own little bandbox on campus, and then they play most of their games or a lot of their games at the Hartford Civic Center, which is like that shared kind of civic facility. I wouldn't be totally opposed to that. The other thing I wouldn't be totally opposed to is sort of the split model that some schools have, where they have a smaller venue on campus. Usually it's used for like volleyball, gymnastics, women's basketball. But, McKale, as great as it is, during those non-conference games against Southern and whatever, you will have, a lot of empty seats. Mm-hmm. And so I could see a case where if we were ever to, maybe it's next to the Richard Jefferson facility on the mall there, some kind of running out of real estate on the campus. But let's just say you could put up a 7,000-seat arena, and then the season ticket is split, where the big games are at McKale, but then some of those lesser games, the UT Arlingtons, you want to really pack that place in and have a great home environment, then you send those games over to that venue.
I think they just need to get a better communication to ticket holders to pass those along. If the Southerns of the world are coming in and they can't make a game, Doug, there's a ton of Tucsonans who would go to those games. And again, this question clearly is not a fixing of a problem as much as a Baylor and Texas, the other schools are downsizing. I think it's more of the what if, obviously. And I think in this scenario, more or less what DK is suggesting is not a new arena, but more like McKale 2.0 on the same spot, eventually with another couple of thousand seats or whatever. But as far as the curtain is what you're trying to avoid. You're trying to avoid a gigantic cavernous arena where you have to close off half of it like they've done up north. just to avoid on television it looking like there's like entire arena's empty. It'll never happen like that here in Tucson because the basketball fever is always going to be there. I love McKale just as it is. I don't think McKale needs changing. I think DK's question really is more of the what if as far as student athletes coming out of high school and what their expectations are that it's shiny and new. That's the big question, I think.
I hear you, but I mean, has that really kept Duke from success? Playing in a dump like Cameron, or I mean, UConn, I don't know. Some of these
probably
other schools
has
that have
not,
had success.
but I don't know what Duke's finances are. I would have to dig deeper to know what their finances are. I know what our finances are. I know what we've been talking about all fall about where our finances are.
For sure, but I don't know how building a $400 million new place is going to be affordable given those realities. With the the debt you'd have to pay off on building something from scratch. I just think I don't know if there's a way to expand any further. I think the current footprint of McKale is about maxed out. Not footprint, but the bones of McKale is probably about maxed out. But like what the Baylor gentleman was saying, we do have now those concessions on the East and West concourses where you can buy your nachos and still follow the action.
Yeah.
So I feel like we've already made some great progress in that direction. We've got really comfortable seats in most of the arena now. You've got super modern weight room and Hall of Fame and locker rooms. I don't know. It just seems like messing with the golden goose to me. And do you want to be the Galen Center? That's what USC has. It's 10,000 seats, but most of the time it's just blah and doesn't have any charm to it. It's not a special place. It's just where they play their games.
Well,
I would hate to see that
I
here.
don't know that that's a good example, though, because USC is not a basketball school. I think if Arizona was playing in a Galen Center, it would be off the chain. It would be off the chain.
It would be packed, but that would be a shame for the 4,800 people that wouldn't get to go because right now we're packing in for the big games. At least we're packing in 14,485 or whatever it is. And so what are those other 5,000 people going to do if you're down to a 10,000 seat arena?
And that's why I say I think if you were to replace it, you expand. I don't know that downsizing makes sense here. But again, that's what I think I read, and I'll have to pull up the stat in the next hour, that of the last 6 new facilities that have been built in college basketball, 5 of them were downsized. So clearly there's something, clearly there's a mindset there with the schools that have done this on why they've done that, but none of those schools draw like Arizona, so there was, that might play into it,
Doug,
as well.
So it may not be a great comp. Yeah.
You want to know where this really all goes back to is we had the play-by-play, right, DK, from Duke Blue Devils on before that game. Yeah. And David Kelly said, how do you guys feel about Cameron? Are there any whispers or is there any talk about maybe upgrading to a larger thing? And there was a long pause for about 2-3 seconds, and all he said was blasphemy. He just said there's no way that would ever happen.
Yeah. That's why my heart was racing just calling you today. I'm like, okay, keep it together, Doug. Don't go crazy, but this is blasphemy.
The origin of this whole conversation came from that moment, I think.
We'll have to pull that one up and replay it. Doug, we got to roll, but I appreciate your thoughts and your call as always.
Thank you. Yeah, McKale for another 100 years.
All right. 100 years, I don't know about that. Maybe another. They're already talking about rebuilding football stadiums. Again, it's professional sports, but they're already talking about rebuilding football stadiums that were built in the late 90s, folks. That's all I'm saying. Eventually, going to have to move on. 520. When is that going to be? I don't know. That's not for me to say.
McKale 2.0.
Yeah. I think we'll talk about this in the next hour. We're way past the break. It's TK on the Sports Tip. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together. Slowdowns at Ajo and Mission for westbound and southbound traffic. More slowing southbound La Cholla at Ajo Way. Crashes clearing Miracle Mile and Fairview, Campbell and Fort Lowell and Campbell, and also Ruth Ruff and La Cholla. We do have a hard freeze warning in effect from midnight tonight till 10 tomorrow. 10 a.m. tomorrow, 53 and sunny for tomorrow and 46 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Progressive Insurance. At Progressive, they're making things even easier. They'll help you bundle your home and car insurance together so you can save on both. Learn more at Progressive.com or 1-800-PROGRESSIVE. That's Progressive.com or 1-800-PROGRESSIVE.
This is Jim Rome with your Rome Report. It's always a bit of a come down the day after the end of the NFL regular season because heads start to roll. That part never brings me any pleasure, especially when we're talking about a couple of guys that I really like getting the axe. I'm talking about both Arthur Smith and Ron Rivera. Now, I could argue that Arthur Smith never had a quarterback and could have gotten one more season to figure it out, but I'm not about to die on that hill. Not on the 7-10 hill. 3 straight 7-10 seasons, never bought anybody any job security in the NFL. I thought that he might get another year, but apparently the Falcons didn't want to give my man even another minute because they announced the news that they were moving on from Art Smith at 12:02 a.m. local time in the ATL. Almost like owner Arthur Blank was just sitting in the dark in his office waiting for the clock to strike midnight so he could hit send and get it over with. Cold-blooded.
Jackson Hewitt has a plan to get your tax refund fast with a buck here, buck there. Here a buck, there a buck, everywhere buck.
You don't have to wait weeks for your tax refund. Get money sooner with a no-fee refund advance loan at Jackson Hewitt.
On this loan, there's a money today guarantee. E-I-E-I-DO.
Don't settle for chicken feed. Get fast bucks at Jackson Hewitt today. No-fee refund advance loans by Republic Bank offered to eligible clients. Money today guarantee if approved for a loan on a prepaid card. Details at jacksonhewitt.com.
Did you know 1 in 4 car batteries is weak and needs to be replaced? O'Reilly Auto Parts will test your battery for free. If your battery needs to be replaced, our professional parts people can help you find the right Superstart battery for your vehicle and budget. Don't wait. Get your battery tested for free today at your local O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts. 1290 has earned the right to be named after the Arizona Wildcats. That's why you'll never see us skip leg day.
Haven't had a carb since 2004.
1290 is the home of the Wildcats. We are Wildcats Radio 1290.
Arizona Complete Health means more than health insurance to me. They're my healthcare partner. We get the care we need from doctors we choose, and even earn rewards for healthy things we're already doing. And with Marketplace, Medicaid, and Medicare options, I have coverage to protect my family's health wherever life takes us.
Arizona Complete Health, a plan for life. Visit planforlifeaz.com to find coverage that works for you.
Hey Tucson, on your way to McKale, tune in to the biggest pregame show in the Pac-12, and after the game, listen for the highlights only on the home of Wildcats men's basketball. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
Hey Eugene, what's with the giant pile of scratcher tickets?
Just my next greatest idea ever.
Playing the lottery?
That's right, Doug. With all my winnings, I can enroll in the UberTube car repair classes and finally fix your car right. No more disasters, Doug. Your luck is about to change.
Well, then keep on scratching, Eugene.
Good luck, Eugene. But if you need a sure thing in automotive repair or for your next set of tires, check out Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care.
You know, we've guaranteed our tires in every auto repair since 1960.
With more than 35 Top Shop awards and our Partners Network 3-year nationwide warranty, you can count on Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care.
And check out this month's special savings.
Pay with your Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care card and get $66 back. And check out the full page of promotions, discounts, and coupons at jackfurriers.com.
So call ahead, make an appointment online, or just stop by any of our 14 area locations.
Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care, since 1960, here to get you there.
KCUB Tucson, a Cumulus media station. We are the sports station that Tucson turns to for all the latest news when it comes to Arizona men's basketball, along with all the play-by-play action. We are Wildcats Radio 1290. Live from the CNWT.
From the what?
Central Northwest Tucson, duh.
It's DK on the Sports Tip with your host, David Kelly.
Radio. Just when I thought I was out, they drug me back in.
Featuring J.W. Madden.
Don't tell me about flip-flops, man. I'm a native.
And Cricket getting you home with traffic and weather.
Camp on Melt Lemon, not in the left lane on the freeway.
Here we go! And now, a man who has not one, but 3 first names, David Scott Kelly.
Late in the first quarter, as you see in the top left of your screen. 2nd and 6. Ritter to Robinson. He's got it. And room to run. Bijan Robinson at the 20. And he will go! Touchdown, Atlanta! 71 yards!
Bijan Robinson going out of his first NFL season with a touchdown, 71-yard reception, doing what he does very well as a receiver. Bijan, though, gained just 28 yards on the ground yesterday, so he falls just a little bit short of 1,000 yards for the season. He finishes with 976 yards rushing, 4 touchdowns. He had 58 catches on the season for 487 yards. So total yards from the line of scrimmage was 1,463. His receiving touchdowns this season were 4, so 8 touchdowns total for Bijan Robinson in his first season. And his coach promptly got fired, the first to be fired, at least the first to be fired after the end of the season. Arthur Smith out as the head coach of the Atlanta Falcons. Bijan will have a new head coach when we reconvene for his second season next year. National Football League playoffs are set. Of course, they disappointed me. I knew they were going to put the Browns on Saturday, so I can't watch them. Can't watch them because, of course, we've got U of A men's basketball on Saturday. The Wildcats will take on the Washington State Cougars at 4 o'clock. The Browns play at 2:30.
I think you could find a way.
I mean, I'll watch the game, but I can't go out and watch it and enjoy it.
Well, you can go out and enjoy it. Maybe just don't drink as many, rum and cokes as you normally would.
Okay, rum and
so
coke.
you can do post game.
That was never my drink.
Don't drink as many bottles of wine as you normally would going out and watching, the Browns play.
Right. Okay. So we will our schedule for next week, just here on Wildcats Radio 1290. We will not carry either of the games on Saturday due to Arizona men's basketball. We will not carry the early game on Sunday, Steelers at Bills. The only game we will carry in its entirety of the 6 games on Wildcard weekend will be the Sunday night game, and that is between who plays Sunday night? The Rams at the Lions. So we will have that game for you in its entirety on Sunday night right here on Wildcats Radio 1290. We may join a couple of games in progress. We're still kind of working out the details of that. We share these broadcasts, the ones that we cannot do with another station here locally. So we will kind of give you a fuller indication later in the week of what we will have for you coming up NFL-wise this weekend. I can tell you we will have the Super Bowl right here on Wildcats Radio 1290. Bijan Robinson was not the only player with Tucson ties to make himself known on the final Sunday of the National Football League.
Second down, chipped in the air, and that is intercepted. And I think it's Morton again. It is. Jalen Harris got his hands on it. Quan Morton has the interception. First of his NFL, make it the second of his career.
Yeah, I think Jalen Harris, number 56, he gets that left hand on the ball.
How about Jalen Harris, Arizona football class of 2022, the son of Sean Harris, Desert Swarm legend. Jalen was signed as a undrafted free agent by the Bears, spent a number of weeks on their practice squad, got signed off of the Bears practice squad by the Washington Commanders, and played in 5 games at the end of the season. Got in about 25% of the snaps on defense and had that pass deflection in yesterday's 38-10 loss to the Dallas Cowboys that led to a Redskins interception. Although the Redskins did not finish the year very well, they lost 13 of their 17 games. But congratulations to our guy Jalen Harris for making his way onto an NFL field for this 2023 season. Now it is on to the playoffs. We will get much more into that as the week goes along with the matchups and what we can expect in this first week of the road to the Super Bowl. We are rejoined by the third member of our program. Cricket is here. Cricket, it is awards season.
Awards season?
Awards, and we like to say that with a SZN season, SZN.
Oh, okay.
Because we're cool like that.
Cool like
so
the
cool.
cool
We're cool
kids.
like that.
Yeah.
Golden Globe. Did you watch the Golden Globes last night? I did not.
No.
I heard that Taylor had a really cute dress on. Are you into the fashion at all of these events?
I do like to see, like maybe the day after. Oh yeah, I forgot the Grammys were last night or whatever, and I'll go through the pictures.
Have
or
you
whatever.
ever been?
No.
No. So obviously, I went to college in Los Angeles, and the American Music Awards. At the time, I don't know where it is now, but at the time, it was held at the Shrine Auditorium, which is right next to the campus of USC. And so my senior year, I worked at campus radio. And so my buddy and I, so you could literally go and stand in line if you wanted to go early enough, and you could get seats for the American Music Awards.
That's cool.
And so my senior year, we went and we did that. And I think we probably stood in line for like 6 or 7 hours. It's
wow.
Yeah. It's
hot ticket.
Yeah, it's you can like I said, you can get in, but you got to stand for a long time in order to get in. But it was the year, if you remember, Gloria Estefan and the Miami Sound Machine. You're familiar with that group, right?
Yes.
Okay. Don't make me have to jump over here and
Be
grab
like,
you.
what's going on?
Kids in the 80s, we remember. Yeah, we remember.
But she had the bus accident, and she, they had the bus accident on the tour bus, and so it was the American Music Awards where she came back and sang "Coming Out of the Dark."
Oh, like her first time back on stage.
I was at that American Music Awards, and that was one of the most incredible musical performances I think I've ever seen.
That's really cool.
And it's always been one of my favorite songs. Coming out of the dark. Oh, I see the light now, and it's shining on me.
Yeah.
I would think as long as you've been in music, you've probably been to an award show or two, no?
Nope.
No?
No, Shannon went to, I think, the Grammys.
I've never been to the Grammys.
She went with Gary Coleman was her date.
Wait, the Gary Coleman?
Yeah, like what you talking about? Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, my God. I got to get Shannon on the show to talk about that.
You do.
Gary, the legendary late Gary Coleman. Wow. How did that happen?
We used to work with him at a previous radio station that we worked at. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
He used to live here.
Yeah.
He was
did he?
A security officer. Wasn't he? Didn't he do security?
So
or
like
something?
his security life was here in Tucson.
Yeah.
I remember him being a security guard, but I never remembered where that was and all of that.
Yeah.
That's
so
cool.
He was looking for a part-time gig, and so he got hired part-time at another radio station.
Do you like the Oscars? Have you ever been like in an Oscar contest? Like my buddy used to have this contest for the Oscars where, you would go, he would have a party every year. He was a big movie guy. He would have a party every year. You would get to his party. He would have the list. You'd fill out the list. And at the end of the night, he would total it all up and there would be a winner.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Like you would pick who was going to win. And so I'm not a movie person. And so the 1 year I was dating a young lady who loved to go to movies.
Okay.
So I had seen all the movies.
So you knew kind of.
So I knew everything. So I went to his party and he's like, and so I won and he was upset because he knew that I was not. How did you win?
How did you do that?
You don't even like movies. And he was like totally upset. His name was Bruce Drennan. He was a great sports talk show host in Cleveland for a number of years. But Bruce used to always have an Oscar party every year.
That's kind of fun.
Yeah. So I was thinking that maybe sometime I would throw an award show party and have everybody over my house and we could bet on who was going to win the awards because I like to gamble.
Do you? Okay. That's fun.
I like to gamble in that respect.
I think it'd be better if you picked an obscure award show, like the South Korean Movie Awards or something like that. There, nobody in the building would know anything about any of them. That would be the best.
Right. Hey, when I went to cover the Wildcats in the NCAA tournament in San Diego a couple of years ago, I ate at this Korean restaurant not too far from campus, San Diego State, and it was like Korean TV. And it was the most fascinating thing that I'd ever watched in my life. I think I got done with my meal and I stayed an extra hour just to watch this. They had this show and it was like the Korean mafia and it was like the Korean good guys were trying to escape the bad guys. And it was like, but it was all very high tech and the special effects were unbelievable. I was like, man, this is better than some stuff I've seen in American theater.
On that note,
I couldn't understand what they were saying, but it was good to watch.
On that note, he's not from Korea; he's from Tokyo. But I did hear last night that Miyazaki won his first ever Golden Globe, which I was shocked that he had never won before.
Oh wow!
But he's like 90s, supposed to retired like 10 years ago. But he's the director of Studio Ghibli, so all of their movies like Ponyo and so forth. But probably the best modern animator of the past, 50 years. So congratulations to him for winning that award last night.
All right. Congratulations. What's his name again? I didn't get that.
His name is
Miyazaki.
Hayao Miyazaki.
All right. Congratulations. Have you heard of him?
No.
No.
But now I have.
There we go.
Well, you got to go see Spirited Away. It's one of my favorite movies. Also, Princess Mononoke is really good.
Okay.
Just so many great movies.
There we go. All right, we're gonna get J-Dub his own. Maybe we'll do some. Maybe you should have the contest there, J-Dub. You're knowledgeable on that right now.
Yeah, it's about Studio Ghibli animation movies, I could probably do pretty good.
All right, getting you home every 20 minutes on the fives with your traffic. Here's Cricket.
And from the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather together. Some slowdowns westbound Ajo at Mission, southbound La Cholla at Ajo for more backups. Collisions that are clearing Palo Verde and Ajo Way, Grant Road and Campbell, McGee and La Cholla, golf links west of Kolb, also eastbound Valencia at I-10. Hard freeze warning from midnight tonight till 10 tomorrow morning, 53 and sunny tomorrow and 45 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather together.
This report is sponsored by Progressive Insurance. At Progressive, they're making things even easier. They'll help you bundle your home and car insurance together so you can save on both. Learn more at progressive.com or 1-800-PROGRESSIVE. That's progressive.com or 1-800-PROGRESSIVE.
Hi, it's Floyd, the family man with the family plan. Outdated HVAC systems will drive up your electric bill, drain your wallet, and peace of mind. Save now at Goodfellas with no payments or interest till 2024. Get a 30% federal tax credit, up to $2,000 off qualifying heat pumps. Trust Goodfellas. We're locally owned with thousands of 5-star reviews. Good service, good prices, Goodfellas. Visit us at goodfellasac.com to schedule a no-cost estimate.
DK on the Sports Tip, 3 to 6 weekdays.
Now, is that league where they got the keg at second base and you got to chug a beer before you get to third? Is that how that works?
J-Dub, that would have been a better league for me.
Oh, okay.
Don't miss out on all the fun.
Hey, Eugene, what's with the giant pile of scratcher tickets?
Just my next greatest idea ever.
Playing the lottery?
That's right, Doug. With all my winnings, I can enroll in the UberTube car repair classes and finally fix your car right. No more disasters, Doug. Your luck is about to change.
Well, then keep on scratching, Eugene.
Good luck, Eugene. But if you need a sure thing in automotive repair or for your next set of tires, check out Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care.
You know, we've guaranteed our tires in every auto repair since 1960.
With more than 35 Top Shop awards and our Partners Network 3-year nationwide warranty, you can count on Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care.
And check out this month's special savings.
Pay with your Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care card and get $66 back. And check out the full page of promotions, discounts, and coupons at jackfurriers.com.
So call ahead, make an appointment online, or just stop by any of our 14 area locations.
Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care, since 1960, here to get you there.
Michael Fabiano here, and if you want even more excitement on game day, it's time to get on Prize Picks, the best way to win big on fantasy sports. Here's how it works. Just pick 2 to 6 players and choose more or less on their stats. If you get them right, you can win up to 25 times your cash. It's quick and easy to make your picks, and with fast and safe deposits and withdrawals, Prize Picks is the place to play this season. Prize Picks has awesome weekly promotions, and they're the only daily fantasy platform with an injury insurance policy, keeping you in the game even if one of your players goes down. Watch your entry update in real time and continue the fun by making picks on second half and fourth quarter stats. And right now, when you go to prizepicks.com/primetime and use code primetime, PrizePicks is matching your first deposit up to $100. That's prizepicks.com/primetime with code primetime for a 100% deposit match. PrizePicks, daily fantasy sports made easy. Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for details.
Tucson has a brand new platform for some of the leading conservative voices and opinion makers in America. It's the all-new Freedom 1400 KTUC. Freedom 1400 is the new home for conservative talk in Tucson. Voices you know and trust from Fox News Television, Newsmax Television, or your favorite conservative podcasts. Brian Kilmeade, Dan Bongino, Ben Shapiro, Chris Plant, Guy Benson, Jimmy Fallon, and more will inform and entertain while addressing the most important issues facing our country. When you want fresh, entertaining conservative talk, go to 1400 AM or stream it at freedom1400.com and listen to the new Freedom 1400. Tucson, we have something free just for Wildcats fans living in Tucson. You can now catch all the play-by-play action of Wildcats football, men's basketball, and baseball, and no charge on your smart speaker. Ask it to play Wildcats Radio 1290. DK on the Sports Tip on Wildcats Radio 1290.
520-848-1290, 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program, the national championship game. I'm just going to call it the Rose Bowl. The Rose Bowl is about to start, and it'll be the Washington Huskies and the Michigan Wolverines playing for the national championship tonight. And this game is being played in Houston, Texas this evening. And we've been talking a little bit about our question of the day, and I'll kind of review that again for you. And we had a chance to talk to John Morris from Baylor, as well as we were talking to our friend Doug in the last hour. And J-Dub mentioned that this kind of goes back to a conversation we had with the announcer from Duke. And we'll get to that. We pulled that sound when we asked him if they would ever consider moving away from Cameron Indoor Stadium at Duke. But let me review our question of the day before we get to that piece of tape from David Shoemate, the voice of the Duke Blue Devils. And reset. So Baylor just opened the new Foster Pavilion, 7,000 seat venue. They have downsized from 10,000 to 7,000. And the question of the day, head on over to Wildcats 1290, our Twitter page right now. You can vote in our poll, and you can vote up until tomorrow. If U of A were to ever replace McKale Center, would you downsize maybe from 15,000 to 12,000 to ensure maximum capacity for most of your events? Or would you upsize to allow for more fans to come? Right now, 84% of the people saying they would upsize a new venue in Tucson to allow for more fans. Now, Chris Bonney checks in on Twitter. He says, considering there is a waiting list years long for tickets to McKale, you would have to expand the seat structure at least a little bit. We've sold out every game for nearly 40 years. You don't downsize after doing that.
Yeah, I mean, and there's the big factor we haven't discussed. But if you think about where Waco is, it's not that far from Dallas. And then just down the road from there is Austin. And then right over from there is College Station. And you're nearby San Antonio and Houston, nearby being relative terms. But there are a lot of affiliations in that little area and a lot of places that have rooting interests, DK, relative to Southern Arizona. Obviously, there are some Sun Devil fans living in Tucson. There are some Wildcat fans living in Phoenix. There aren't any professional teams here in town, right? It's a huge reason why the Arizona Wildcats basketball team has had so much support since I was a kid. I remember going to games when there wasn't a full McKale Center. I remember that. I remember that era right when Lou took over, and they weren't quite – I think they won their first Pac-12 championship in, I want to say, 86, something like that. So the 84, 85 era, like right after Ben Lindsay. But ever since then, they've led the conference in attendance. And that doesn't seem like it's going to slow down anytime soon because, number one, the city of Tucson loves the Wildcat basketball program, but they've been really, really good year in, year out, DK, right? I mean, the last time Arizona had a losing season was Ben Lindsay's year. Unless you're talking vacancies and that kind of thing. They've won on the court and had a winning record every single year since the early 80s. So that's how you get sustained support. That's how you get that years-long waiting list of people trying to get season tickets. So, yeah, I don't think there's any question that the situation in Tucson is unique, the biggest college town in America, and it would be we're talking hypotheticals here, pure hypotheticals, and it would have to be a level of expansion as opposed to any kind of shrinkage just because you're having trouble, the games against some of the early season opponents notwithstanding, it's always a matter of trying to have more space because more people are trying to get into that building.
All right. I want to throw some numbers out to you involving this Foster Pavilion in Waco. All right. It was built for $185 million. 65 of that was fronted by the city, $125 million fronted by Baylor at no debt, finance without debt. Important, again, the marriage between the city and the university here, important. The venue is to be available for concerts 90 days a year. The facility also is expected to spark over $700 million in downtown riverfront development. We mentioned that it was down on the river. So they're expecting this to kind of be a boon for development on the river. When Baylor announced that they were going to build this, officials noted that from 2015 to 2019, 9 major college basketball programs built new arenas or renovated existing ones, with 8 of those schools reducing capacity by at least 1,000 seats. Of note, 6 of the 9 programs increased their average attendance after opening their new arenas, even with a smaller capacity. And you heard one of the things that John Morris, the voice of the Baylor Bears, mentioned was the fact that the University of Texas, which right now is the dominant athletic program in college athletics, they have won the Directors' Cup the last 2 years in a row. They unseated Stanford. No one ever thought that Stanford would be unseated from the Directors' Cup. They'd won it for 25 years in a row.
They had to change the rules, right? They changed the rules so that other universities could compete. I think with Stanford is what happened, and Texas certainly took up that mantle. And what did Stanford finish second though? Right.
Right.
Yeah.
But again, the major connection here again is marriage between the university and the city. And just reading from Forbes magazine, the new Moody Center strikes a balance between serving Texas basketball and offering an Austin stop for major concerts. And this kind of goes back to the thing we were talking about during the football season. What else is happening at McKale Center right now outside of U of A events? Nothing.
Yeah, I think they made the choice a while back to make it the hub for all athletics for the University of Arizona. Like, how many offices are in there, right? Like, it's not
as many as there used to be, but there's still a lot. Yeah.
And there's a lot of student athletes coming and going is what I'm saying. Clearly, they have new facilities. They get Richard Jefferson Gym was only built, 12 years ago? Hasn't been there forever. But Arizona, McKale was always, McKale and being so close right there to Arizona Stadium, it always felt like the entire hub of Arizona athletics. We did the research, and there were concerts there in the early 70s, mid 70s. But you're right. I mean, it's not obviously a facility that they're looking to get that extra revenue stream in from having concerts regularly. And I think the other venues around town have taken up that mantle. But curious, I mean, we'd have to go right to the top and ask those kind of people who make those decisions, right? Because otherwise it's all speculation. But if you're having issues with the athletic budget, I'm not sure how that math works. If you have somebody come in and do a concert, how much the ticket provider makes off of that, how much the people who own the venue and run the venue make off of it, I'm not sure. But most of these places that you're talking about are building, like Austin, clearly a huge hub for music. They're talking about the new facility at Baylor is beautiful right there on the water, and if it does lead to $700 million in new development, you said that's the prediction. I mean, it looks like it's ripe for that area to be built up quite a bit. So, I mean, that's a long-term projection. And again, McKale, it's kind of is where it is, right? I mean, it's right in. I love the fact, just like Doug and I'm sure all the longtime fans, I love that McKale's right in the heart of the campus, and it's always been to me the heart of the city. You know, there's been so many moments, but I think more recently to the moment is silent for, Gabby Giffords. I was there that night, and that was the place that they decided that everybody would come together in McKale. If you think about that, that's where they decided to hold that event. And so McKale's always been the heart of Tucson for me personally, and I don't know what decision goes into the extra revenue income they could have from having concerts there, but it's definitely always been there whenever the city of Tucson has needed it.
Well, I would think if, just hypothetically talking about locations, I would think, I don't know if downtown works here, especially because you just recently built the Richard Jefferson Gymnasium. I think I would honestly, if I were going to build a new facility, I would build it as an extension of Richard Jefferson Jr. and meld the two together. You could basically, tear it down. I hate to use the word tear down because people will get upset, but whatever. Tear down McKale, build it on what is now the lawn there, build the new facility on the lawn because you got all that space over there. And then, if you want to move, if you're concerned about moving green area, then just where McKale is now becomes the new green area, and you build it as an extension of Richard Jefferson because you just built that when I first got here in 2008, 2009, and now you've got your practice facility, you've got your weight room, and you've got all that connected to whatever your new facility.
It's got to be there, yeah. I mean, it's got to be on campus.
That makes sense to me, and you keep it on campus.
I hope McKale sticks around forever. I'm with Doug on that. And if how many Madison Square Gardens have there been? 3 or 4, right? So, I mean, that's the most famous arena in the world, but it's not because it's the 4th version of that arena. So, again, it's all purely hypotheticals. I like the changes. The concourse, there's a lot of concourse talk on these. And the way McKale's laid out now, with the bathrooms outside, and the way it used to be was really cramped. You really kind of had to leave your seat a good 2-3 minutes before each timeout if you had to use the restrooms. Now there's a lot more freedom of movement. I really like the way it's laid out now, with the no cashier concessions that they have around the whole arena and all of those things. So I don't really have a problem with that modernization of it. But as you said earlier, the thing I think maybe listeners might be missing is what DK's really talking about is, do you need that to get the next generation of recruits who really are up on a lot of that stuff and maybe are making decisions based on, well, that building was built in the 1970s. That's when my great-grandpa was born. I don't want to play in a building that old. There might be that mindset out there that new is, but I don't think new. I like, we're going to have to listen to that Mr. Shoemate's comments on changing Cameron, because there's certainly going to be those entrenched people that want McKale to stay the exact same concrete outside as it's always been.
All right, well, this is what they call in radio a tease. You will hear from David Shoemate next. It's DK on the Sports Tip. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together. Backups westbound Ajo at Mission, more slowing for southbound La Cholla at Ajo Way. Collisions clearing Palo Verde and Ajo, Grant Road and Campbell, McGee and La Cholla. Golf links west of Cole Road and also Valencia at I-10. There is a hard freeze warning in effect from midnight tonight till 10 a.m. tomorrow. 53 and sunny for tomorrow and 45 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Progressive Insurance is making it easy to save money. When you bundle your auto policy with home, condo, or renters, you'll earn a multi-policy discount. Easy to bundle, easy to save. Visit Progressive.com. That's Progressive.com.
My heat and air work in a state of disrepair. Here's wishing you a safe and happy new year. I'm Ron Arenas, the owner of Picture Rocks Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing. Don't let heating and plumbing problems spoil 2024. When you need us, make a resolution to call 520-440-4069 for honest service to the Tucson area for over 22 years. We are proud to serve you.
Well, it's that time of year. You dress the kids up for the holiday parties, and they hate it. You dress everybody up for the annual holiday card picture, and, well, everybody hates that. You even dress the turkey, and we're pretty sure he's not happy about that. This year, dress up your yard in time for the holidays. Call Dorado Rockin' Materials, and we promise there will be no complaints. Make your yard beautiful and worry-free with their personal service and convenient delivery times. Dorado Rockin' Materials. The right service, the right product, the right price.
Make sure you download or update the Wildcats Radio 1290 app. We've got the entire state covered like no other sports radio station in southern Arizona. Plus, when you have the app, you can cover U of A sports with Wildcats Radio 1290 anywhere and everywhere you go and out of town, too. The mountains, the beach, working out, or maybe even...
Oh, no. Turn that off.
Download or update the Wildcats Radio 1290 app today and never miss a moment of sports analysis. Well, maybe an occasional moment. Wildcats Radio 1290.
Attorney Joe Cordell.
Business owners and professionals face special challenges in divorce court. In addition to everything else going on, they have to contend with allegations that they are earning more than they are, coupled with claims on their business or practice itself. Clients with assets depend on their divorce lawyer's skills in these matters, and that's why it's so important to hire someone that has those skills.
Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's Tucson area attorneys. Joseph Cordell, licensed in Missouri and Illinois only. CordellCordell.com.
Today on Hey Culligan's Smart Home, Smarter Water Softener, here's Kevin.
Hey Culligan, can a smart water softener lift those heavy salt bags for me?
Kevin, it can.
Wait, it can?
Yep, the smart high-efficiency water softener from Culligan can alert your dealer when the salt needs to be replaced, and they'll do it for you, so your water stays soft and you stay away from lifting the bags.
I mean, I could lift them if I wanted.
No judgment here, Kevin. We're happy to do it, and we're already on the way. Let us help you out with a free in-home water test with the local Culligan water expert at Culligan.com.
The Dell Technologies semi-annual sale is on, with limited quantity deals on top tech. Save on select PCs powered by the latest 12th Gen Intel Core processors like thin and light XPS 13 laptops, Inspiron laptops, and 2-in-1s. Plus, get savings on select accessories, free shipping, and monthly payment options with Dell Preferred Account. Save today by calling 877-ASK-DELL. That's 877-ASK-DELL.
Let me tell you a little bit something about QC Kinetics. You can make the decision right now to get lasting relief from that awful joint pain for 2024. Don't go another year compromising because of that pain in your knee or your shoulder. Call QC Kinetics now. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in regenerative, non-surgical pain relief. Your body has what it needs to restore and repair that damaged joint tissue, and QC Kinetics can make it happen. No drugs, no surgery, no downtime. The future of pain treatments has arrived, and QC has tens of thousands of satisfied patients all over America. People with back pain, hip pain, any pain associated with arthritis or an injury. This is not a Band-Aid, folks. This is revolutionary treatment that can get you moving again. Get your life back, and listen, it's non-surgical. If this is the year you decide to fight back against that pain, take the first step now. Call QC Kinetics. Get a free consultation on your calendar today. There's 2 locations here in Tucson, one off of Academy, the other off of Orange Grove. Call QC Kinetics now, 520-497-4955, 520-497-4955, QC Kinetics.
DK on the Sports Tip on Wildcats Radio 1290.
520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. The national championship game in football is about to get underway. Washington against Michigan. I have been to a national championship game once in my lifetime. I believe it was 2005 that I went down to Miami and saw the University of Southern California Trojans beat the Oklahoma Sooners. That was a fun night. That was a really very anticlimactic. I tell people all the time, It was extremely anticlimactic. I think the final score was like 55-19 or something. You always anticipate, and again, there's only been one other time in my lifetime where I've had a team, and that was the first time that really I'd had a team that I'd followed that had won a championship of any sort until the Cavaliers won the NBA Finals in 2016. And that was anything but anticlimactic. But you always think it's going to be right down to the wire. And that night just was not that. It was literally over at halftime. And so like the second half was just kind of rejoicing in like you were kind of wondering, wow, this is what it's like to be on top of something. Watching your team win something, it was very just like you thought it was going to be crazy and nerve-wracking, and it wasn't. It was like, okay, we just won the national championship by 30-something points.
What's better? That's a poll question for the future.
Better? Winning by a lot and not having the nervous part at the end, or having the nervous part of the end and winning?
Well, as far as the football, baseball, how many championships they have? 4 national championships, the UA in baseball?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, they've won in baseball, softball, obviously, but you're talking about football, basketball. The win against Kentucky was in overtime, right? And so that was a very close game down to the wire. There aren't a lot of references outside of that, right? So, you're and baseball, softball tends to have series on the way to the title as opposed to that single elimination situation. But yeah, as far as Tucson fans are concerned, I don't know about. I think sometimes, in hindsight, winning close games in a championship scenario feels great to come out on top of those really close games. However, when you're already in the title game, when you're already in the national championship game, if you win by 40, that's not going to make it feel any less. There's that whole thing of the quality of the opponent that you're playing. So if you just put it all together on that particular day and blow them out, that's a great feeling too.
It was down in Miami, and I'd never been down to South Beach before, and so I stayed down in South Beach, and I ended up staying like 2 days extra just because I wanted to kind of hang out and have some fun and relax and whatnot. And there's
fun things to do on South Beach in Miami?
Just a few.
Oh, okay.
Just a few, yeah. But there was nothing better, just like I think the game was on, obviously, it's always on a Monday night. So the game was on a Monday night. I think I was down there Tuesday, Wednesday. I went back to Ohio on Thursday.
You didn't get stuck in Shreveport?
No, I did not get stuck in Shreveport. Thank goodness for that. Yeah, but there was nothing better than just hanging out Tuesday and Wednesday and kind of, rejoicing and being a champion. It was kind of fun. I really enjoyed that, soaking it in for sure. All right, so going back to our conversation with Duke announcer David Shoemate prior to the Wildcats venturing down to Cameron Indoor Stadium earlier this year. This was the last time we talked about this whole what is the future of McKale Center topic. So that was what, mid-November?
This was November 10th.
So so literally about 2 months ago, if my math is correct on that. Yeah, 2 months ago. So here's what David Shoemate had to say when I asked him if he thought the Duke Blue Devils would ever consider moving away from Cameron Indoor Stadium, one of the most iconic venues in college basketball, to something a little bit shinier and newer.
Blasphemous. You don't mess with anything that's perfect, and that's what Cameron is. And I think that's something that the fan base, I'm joking, but along with Coach K and everyone through the years has realized. This place is special. It's special because it's unique. It's special because of the history. It's also special because of the dimensions and the size. And there really is no interest or appetite to tinker. It is it's perfect. I mean, there's little touches. And obviously, I was joking about the concession stands earlier. There's some things that have been done to modernize things for hospitality areas and some build outs around it to, practice facilities and updating locker rooms and things like that. But in terms of the viewing experience and the floor and the number of seats, no. It is good the way it is, and I think everyone feels that way.
There you go. Blasphemous, he says. Blasphemous.
I mean, there are a few, there are a few single-named buildings, right? But if you just say Cameron, people know what that is.
Yeah.
Right?
Cameron, Fenway, Wrigley.
Sure.
kind of fit into that mold.
Yeah, MSG.
How often do I don't know what the dynamic is. We'll look this up for tomorrow. But how often? What's the split on Kansas? How many games they play at Fog Allen, and how many games they play is in Kansas City at the
I don't know.
T-Mobile or something? I'd just be interested to know because again, I mean, and that's something Doug brought up. Doug brought up the possibility of having two homes, which I essentially think that's what they do. They play a number of games in both of those facilities. I'd be interested to know maybe what the breakout of that is annually and how that maybe we'll have that conversation with somebody at Kansas since they're going to be in our conference as well to find out how that works in terms of season ticket holders and like if I'm a season ticket holder, do I have like how my seat at Fog Allen works versus my seat at I think it's T-Mobile is the name of theirs as well. There's a lot of T-Mobile different buildings, but yeah, it'd be interesting to find that out as we continue to move this conversation forward into the new year. 520-848-1290, 520-848-1290. I've got some prep business to take care of here. I got to get a sounder for this. That's the next thing on our agenda. We have started a new thing here called Prep Princes and Prep Princesses, where we anoint some of our outstanding performances on the high school level. And I've got a Prep Prince for today. Congratulations out to senior Lane Wetton. Prep Prince from Wilcox, the Cowboys. Wilcox basketball. Lane had 21 points and 13 rebounds in a 71-36 win for the Cowboys over Music Mountain. J-Dub, have you ever heard of Music Mountain High School?
I'm going to be honest right now, DK. Like, I haven't heard of maybe an eighth of the schools that you talk about on this show. I mean, like every school, because how many schools have been built in the last 15 years, 20 years? A lot.
Have you ever been to Peach Springs, Arizona?
Peach Springs, Arizona.
That is where Music Mountain High School is located. I'm pulling up the map to kind of find out exactly.
I feel like some point in my life I've been through Peach Springs, but I couldn't tell you where it is.
Okay. Well, let's look. It appears like it's a little bit north of Kingman. Kind of on the, and I know I'm going to pronounce this wrong, Hulapea Indian Reservation?
Sounds good to me.
On the edge of the Grand Canyon.
Yeah.
Is where Music Mountain High School is.
Grand Canyon, famous for their peaches.
Okay, so if we actually, because we've got the Tommy Lloyd show coming up at 6:05, so we will take you right up to 6 o'clock. So we've got about another 11 minutes or so of show left. So if you've been to Peach Springs, Arizona, give me a call. I want to know all about it. 520-848-1290. 520-848-1290. But congratulations to Lane Wetton from Wilcox High School. He's our prep prince for today. 21 points, double-double, 21 and 13 in the Cowboys win over Music Mountain.
I've been through Kingman a lot.
Oh, I think we all have.
On
the way to Vegas.
Yeah, exactly.
What?
I've driven that road so many damn times.
Now you've brought up another thing. We were talking to Amy about the demise of the conference.
Yeah.
One more trip through Kingman.
Yeah.
Well, two more if you go to both the women's and the men's tournaments, which was that's like an annual thing. The drive through Kingman to Vegas.
I got news though
for the tournaments.
I got news for you. There are other reasons to go to Vegas except for other than the men's and women's basketball tournament.
Really?
Yeah, there's a couple
other stuff going on there besides basketball.
To go up there. Yeah, they have the world's largest everything there. So just think of it that way.
The Sphere.
Right. That's
Sphere.
the most recent one. Yeah.
Saw that last time when we were there. When we were there for the Pac-12 football.
My uncle Clark is an engineer. He's been up there since the 70s, and he had a hand in like the Luxor and probably like air conditioning ducts.
I remember when they opened
thousands
the Luxor.
of people.
I remember when they opened the Luxor. It was right after. It was about the time I was graduating from college.
Yeah.
And I remember going there and thinking, and everybody, we just thought that was the best thing. Oh my God, a diamond-shaped hotel with a beam. I mean, they did the beam before Sacramento did the beam.
Yep.
And like they had the gondolas, and we were like, oh my God, this is so cool. And now it's
all the hieroglyphs and stuff inside. Yeah.
And now the Luxor is like 10th If it's even 10th, it's probably
This fits in
lower
actually to
than
the
that.
conversation about building a new building so that the recruits will come. I mean, that's
See?
how the casino lifestyle works.
Exactly.
It's about hot new things.
Exactly. Like now, it's like I'm going to Cosmopolitan. I'm not going to the Luxor.
Yeah.
Because I like my balcony. I like my shiny new stuff. That's me. I'm that kind of kid. I would be that kind of kid. Give me the shiny new stuff.
We only have about 8 minutes left, but we do have a new College Football Hall of Fame class.
Yes.
You want to talk about that really quick?
Yeah, why don't we? Well, I saw that my guy Tim Couch is going. That's kind of why I brought that up, because I was like, oh, somebody tweeted. Because Tim Couch, if for those of you that don't know, Tim Couch is part owner of Meridian Wealth Management,
right?
Which is our sponsor of the pregame and postgame shows. He played quarterback at Kentucky. He was one of the, all-time great college quarterbacks. Tim Couch. He was a number 1 pick of my Cleveland Browns. I covered Tim during my years as a Cleveland Browns radio beat reporter. So, I love the guy. Always been a big, huge fan. We got to get him on the show. I keep saying I've got to give. Now that he's in the Hall of Fame, we're definitely going to get Tim Couch on the show.
It's a good reason.
Yeah. Who else is on that list, J-Dub?
Well, let's see. This is the 66th NFF annual awards.
National Football Foundation.
That's right. There are 18 players and 3 coaches. Justin Blackman from Oklahoma State, late 2000s. Paul Cameron from the 50s at UCLA. Tim Couch, Kentucky. Warwick Dunn, great running back from Florida State. Armani Edwards, Appalachian State. Dion Figures, cornerback from Colorado in the late 80s, early 90s. Some guy named Larry Fitzgerald. He's a wide receiver out of Pittsburgh. Toby Gerhart, saw a lot of that guy at Stanford.
Big linebacker, running back.
Dan Hampton, DT from Arkansas in the mid-70s. Steve Hutchison.
Great Chicago Bear, Dan Hampton. Steve Hutchinson.
Out of Michigan.
Yeah, great lineman, center.
Antonio Langman's in, a cornerback out of Alabama. Randy Moss.
Played for the Browns, Antonio Langham.
Randy Moss, what is it? Florida State was where he was going to go, but
Marshall.
Didn't have the grades, so went to Marshall, something like that.
Yeah, great movie. Great ESPN 30/30 on
Julius
his life.
Peppers, believe it or not, almost was an Arizona Wildcat before he went to North Carolina.
Another Cleveland Brown.
Dewey Selman out of Oklahoma in the 70s. Alex Smith. That was before Utah was in the conference, but man, saw a lot of Alex Smith back in those days in the early 2000s. Kevin Smith, cornerback out of Texas A&M, late 80s. Chris Ward, Ohio State, and Danny Woodhead, running back out of Chadron State, New England. Coaches Mark D'Antonio, Danny Hale, and Frank Solich.
Nice. Frank Solich, another Ohio guy, Youngstown. Like that. We invented football.
Of course. No, yeah, all of them, all the Hall of Famers are from that part of the country.
Yes. So congratulations to all those Hall of Famers. Congratulations to my guy, Tim Couch. I don't know. I think we'll have to find out. Like, if I think there was some nominations. I think every school nominates. So we'll have to find out if there were any Arizona nominees this year that did not get in. But congratulations to all those who did.
The chairman of the NFF, Mr. Archie Manning.
Yes, and I believe the top NFF representative here in Southern Arizona is Tim Kish. So we'll have to reach out to Tim, too. We have not had him on the show yet either. So we'll have to get Tim Kish. He does a lot around town now that he's no longer coaching. He's a big time. Works with the Arizona Bowl and the NFF here locally. So he's doing some great things in his retirement from football. Real
quick, some of the criteria. You have to have been a first-team All-American, and you have to have been out of school for 10 full seasons, are a couple of the considerations.
Wow, 10.
10 full seasons after their final year of intercollegiate football.
Versus 5. Want to let you also know, tonight in Tucson, a couple of big high school girls basketball games happening. If you're looking for something to do, both of these are going to be on opposite ends of Prince Road tonight, which is our neighborhood here in the CNWT. Shout out to our high schools here. Amphi at 15 and 5 will host Rio Rico. That is happening tonight on the girls basketball side. And at the other end of the block, Flowing Wells will take on Saguaro. That is always a good meeting between those two schools. They went to battle in the playoffs last year with Saguaro, I believe, winning that game, if my memory serves me correctly. The Hoops rankings will come out this week. I believe they come out tomorrow and Wednesday. So we'll have a clear indication of who is dominant this year once the AZ Preps high school basketball rankings come out. I've not been out to a high school basketball game yet. I'm going to try to get out to one either maybe this week or next week. Also, I want to shout out the Pima Aztecs basketball team. The men continue to play well. They beat Cochise, which is no easy feat because Cochise is a JC Division I school. The Aztecs are a JC Division II school. They play in the same conference, and Cochise has perennially been the dominant basketball team on the men's side in the ACCAC. But the Aztecs went on the road to Douglas and won by 12 on Saturday, and they are now 14-1 and 6-1 in conference play.
Did they score 180 points?
They did not. 81. They only got to 81. But 81 against Cochise, you'll take that. You'll take that for sure. Ladies also played at Cochise. They fell by 10 points, 65-55. The Aztecs are back home on Wednesday against Chandler Gilbert. Those games will be at 5:30 and 7:30 up on West Anklam Road. And then it's on the road Saturday in Yuma against Arizona Western at 2 o'clock and 4 o'clock. All right, quick update on your Mesquite Valley Growers College Football National Championship scoreboard. Michigan is out to the early lead on the Washington Huskies. A quick first drive touchdown for the Wolverines to take a 7-0 lead. They are the number 1 seed in this. Washington is the number 2. Both are undefeated at 14-0. A lot coming up for you all week long. We only have one basketball game, so that's because we'll have full shows. Well, we don't have a full show. We'll have almost a full show tomorrow. We'll have the Adia Barn show coming up for you tomorrow at 5:30. And, again, Tommy Lloyd coming up here shortly. Tonight out at the Union Public House. And so if you're looking for something else to do, go out there and watch some college football with Tommy and Brian, as they'll have that show coming up for you as well. Also, shout out, congratulations to Trayson Bourget from South Point Catholic High School. He was in the transfer portal. He has announced that he is going to go play quarterback at BYU. So we will see Trayson when we get to the Big 12. And he is going to join us on the show probably tomorrow. We will talk to Trayson Bourget and kind of get an idea of what that transfer portal is all about. Is it really like the commercial where it's trying to pull you into the abyss?
And tonight she's back for her very first public performance. Ladies and gentlemen, the American Music Awards, welcome back with love, Gloria Estefan.
Yes, I was there that night. That's going to wrap up our show. I'm going to let Gloria, take us out. Thanks to Jada, thanks to Cricket, most of all, thanks to you for listening. DK on the Sports Tip, coming out of the dark. We'll talk to you on Tuesday.
Collisions that are clearing at Palo Verde and Ajo Way, Grant Road and Campbell, McGee and La Choya, also golf links west of Kolb Road. Some slowdowns southbound La Choya at Ajo, also busy traffic at Mission and Ajo. Hard freeze warning from midnight tonight till 10 a.m. tomorrow. 53 and sunny for tomorrow and 44 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio, 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Progressive Insurance. At Progressive, they're making things even easier. They'll help you bundle your home and car insurance together so you can save on both. Learn more at Progressive.com or 1-800-PROGRESSIVE. That's Progressive.com or 1-800-PROGRESSIVE.
License to 40693.
Guys, I want to share Alaskan AC's 1-year guarantee.
Yeah.
It's a big deal, a 1-year guarantee.
Doesn't everyone have something like that?
Sure, but they keep your money. We give money back.
Oh. Wow. Can we say that?
Yes, like this. When Alaskan AC installs a new system, it's guaranteed for a whole year or your money back. We'll either fix it to make it work, or we'll hand you back all of your money.
This really makes other AC companies seem kinda lame? That's the word.
Another polar bear promise.
A whole year. If your AC system isn't performing like it should on day 363,
we make it right or give you back all of your money right down to the penny.
Call an Alaskan. No, call everyone else first. See if they'll put their money on the line.
They won't, because at Alaskan AC, we believe if we can't satisfy you,
we don't deserve your business. And that's a polar bear promise.
Guaranteed. Every day at AlaskanAC.com.
Okay, kids, we're home. Everybody out.
Ew, my feet are stuck.
In what, honey?
On the floor.
Ew. Take off your shoes. Tommy, come carry your sister into the house.
What do you do when the car you use the most has the least amount of time to get clean? Let Recon Auto Detailing, Arizona's premier auto detailing company, come to you and turn your busiest car back into your best. From basic cleaning to a full detail, Recon Auto Detailing. Online at recondetail.com.
Attention Tucson! We bring you every minute of Arizona men's basketball, both home and away, all season long. We are the home of the Arizona Wildcats. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
Broadway in Tucson presents the Rockin' 2023-2024 season featuring 8 blockbuster productions including Disney's Aladdin, The Book of Mormon, Hairspray, and Chicago. Enjoy the Southern Arizona musical premieres of Tina, the Tina Turner Musical, Ain't Too Proud, The Life and Time of the Temptations, MJ the Musical, and Mrs. Doubtfire. Secure your choice season tickets today and get the ultimate in flexibility and the lowest prices all season. Visit BroadwayInTucson.com and secure your season tickets today.
Can't get enough of your Arizona Wildcats? Make sure to stop by Taco Bell in the spring for a meet and greet opportunity with some of your Arizona men's basketball players at Taco Bell. Pick up your favorite Taco Bell combo and live Moss with an autograph or photo from Kylan Boswell and Keyshawn Johnson. Taco Bell, locally owned and operated and proud partner of Arizona Athletics. Bear down and live Moss.
KCUB Tucson, a Cumulus media station. We are the sports station that Tucson turns to for all the latest news when it comes to Arizona men's basketball, along with all the play-by-play action. We are Wildcats Radio 1290.
Why does 1290 run this town?
It's simple. 1290 is the only radio station that can bring you Arizona football, men's basketball, and baseball. Scoreboard 1290.
This is the home of the Wildcats.
This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
Touchdown! Arizona wins at home. Down the lane.
The following is a Learfield presentation of the Arizona Sports Network.
The 1997 national champions, your Arizona Wildcats.
The Tommy Lloyd Show is on the air on the Arizona Sports Network from Learfield. Live at Union Public House at River and Campbell in Tucson. Alongside the head coach, here's the voice of the Wildcats, Brian Jeffries.
All right, hi again, everybody. Welcome back to Union Public House. It's Monday night. Happy New Year. I hope everyone had a great time with family, friends, and a little time away from whatever you do for a little bit. The Wildcats had a very short period of time away, and it's been hard back to work right after Christmas, and already 4 conference games in the books, including 2 very good ones this past weekend with wins over Colorado and Utah at McKale Center. And next game coming up on Saturday afternoon up in Pullman against Washington State. The Wildcats will be back home 1 week from Wednesday when they host USC. And good weekend, Coach. In fact, I was looking at the numbers for the 2 games combined, and everybody appeared to play well.
Yeah, it went well, and we got the result we were aiming for, which was good. And, as you said, it was quite a haul, from kind of our mid-December schedule, and then, the Christmas break, which really doesn't end up being much of a break for us, and then, going on the road right away in conference. So, and then coming back home was good. It was great to get a breath of fresh air, stay at home for a while, kind of get back into a little bit of a routine.
Caleb Love was named Pac-12 Player of the Week today. Well-deserved for him. 39 points over the 2 games this weekend. And really, it goes back further than that. He is your team's leading scorer, but I think I went back to his last 8 games or so, and it just seems like he continues to elevate his game.
Yeah, he's obviously a very good player, and I think he's getting more comfortable, with how we play and what we do, and we're getting more comfortable coaching him, and but the intent, or the aim is not necessarily for him to be the leading scorer, and he and I have had those conversations. So, I want him to keep focusing on being a good all-around player. I think he's doing a good job. His rebounding's picked up. I wouldn't mind seeing a little bit of offensive rebounding out of him, and defensively, I think he's definitely given some really high-level effort and spurts. I would just like to see him sustain maybe a natural moments to relax. Can he not relax and can kind of get to a higher level of concentration and effort a little deeper in some of those possessions? But that's my job. My job's to push him, and he's great. He and I had a great meeting about all that stuff today, and we're lucky to have him, and I'm really proud of him, and it takes a total team effort to get that, and he knows that. So he's been doing well.
We probably talked about this before, but there's that big transition when you're a high school athlete, you come to a power school like Arizona, and the adjustments you have to make. But when you're a transfer student, it's somewhat the same, because he was under one system at a very high level school, and now comes to another one. And not just Caleb in particular, but anybody, and you've got a couple other guys that transferred in. What's the adjustment period like for them?
Well, there is an adjustment. It's a different style of play, different style of coaching. Obviously everybody has different styles, and there's multiple ways to be successful. I think the most important thing, or the role I can play at it, is just be a kind of a straight shooter and an honest communicator. And, that's how we recruit them. And when they get out on the court, that's how I kind of coach them. And I think once they kind of realize that's genuine and that's true, I think they kind of hit their groove. Even Keyshawn, Keyshawn and I had a good meeting today, and that 4 position for us, it allows your offense to kind of flex one way or another how you want to play. So it kind of gives you versatility. So with that comes, a lot of responsibility and maybe a lot of different options, where I can say, hey, can you do this time? Can you do that the next time? And almost game to game, kind of sometimes it feels like he's selecting off an a la carte menu. So I just got to really help him kind of understand all his options, but he's starting to figure those out. I mean, the one thing nobody's talked about, he had 20 points against Colorado. 20 points against Utah, and it was pretty quiet, which is really cool to see, that he's kind of, found his way within our system.
When he first arrived, and just, from my viewpoint, tell me if I'm totally off base here, that his defense looked really solid from really game 1 this year. And his offense obviously has come along.
He's an elite defender. He really is, and he's got great versatility there. And, he came, that was, kind of his reputation. He came, and he has solidified that. But, on the offensive end, people thought maybe he was raw, not as skilled. But, he assured me that there was more there. And I just told him if he's willing to work, and that will help him tap into that. And he's been great, and I love seeing him have success at both ends of the floor.
Now, Keyshawn's now made more three-pointers this season than he did in 39 games last season. Is that something that he wanted to grow out of his game?
For sure. They all do. You'd ask Big O. He'd want to. He would let threes if we made that part of our offense. And I actually asked Keyshawn that question today, and he told me. And I don't remember. I'm not looking at the stats because, for one, I don't have my glasses today, so I couldn't see him anyways. He told me he's tied. Has the same number of made threes now that he had last year. So if you're saying he beat it, then he needs to look a little closer.
Okay.
But obviously it's in the ballpark. So
it is, yeah.
So I think I'm feeling really comfortable with him out there. Yeah. Shooting those threes. And I'd like to see him add a little shot fake and a drive on some of them, because I think he could do that, especially in some of the matchups he has. And another little sneaky thing I'd like to see him do. I'd like to see him offensive rebound out of those, when he's out on the perimeter. And the last couple of years we haven't had another big on the perimeter as much. We have in some of our, maybe when we play a smaller lineup. When Pella played the 4 the past couple of years, but the last 2 years, Zeus dominated that spot. So you kind of had your 4-man who was in there kind of playing like a post player, which there's a lot of advantages to that too. Obviously Utah's having a little bit of success doing that now, and we were able to do that the last couple of years. So it's been fun. It's been fun watching the players, different styles of players succeed in our system.
Absolutely. All right, Cats will be in Pullman on Saturday to take on the Washington State Cougars. There is a football game going on tonight. I'm assuming, Coach, that you're rooting for the Huskies, Pac-12 team, or you're going to stay neutral on it?
Totally neutral, because you know what? When I just told my wife driving down here, when I watched that game, I envision myself coaching in my version of it.
Okay.
So my mind goes there. My mind's not really rooting for anybody. So I'm
All right.
always thinking, like,